Chapter 1438 Chapter 1438 Fighting for the Holy Weapon, Shatter. The demonic young man's eyes flashed with ferocity, but in the next moment, his expression changed drastically. He felt a terrifying power coming from his finger. This power was like an avalanche or an ancient divine mountain crashing into his finger. Kacha! His fingers made a cracking sound and were deformed. He bellowed in rage and retreated rapidly. He took more than 10 steps back and looked at Lu Ming with a sinister expression. In the previous move, Lu Ming had broken the bones of his fingers with one punch. He glanced at Lu Ming with a serious look in his eyes. He did not continue to attack. Instead, he dashed toward one of the Emperor's spiritual weapons. His territory spread out and enveloped the sword. Suppress! At this moment, Lu Ming made his move. With a wave of his hand, the Chaos Domain spread and suppressed the two king's spiritual weapons in the Chaos Domain before he put them away. Could this place be a treasure vault? Lu Ming's eyes swept across the sky. Looking at the lights that were flying randomly in the sky, a thought flashed across his mind. The next moment, Lu Ming attacked again without any hesitation. There were more than 10 young men present, and all of them had powerful cultivation. If he were to delay any longer, he would most likely not be able to get a share. Buzz. And NBSP whoosh. More than a dozen young men attacked at an extremely fast speed. The light dancing in the sky became less and less as they put away the king's spiritual weapons. Within a short period of time, Lu Ming had obtained 8 Emperor's spiritual weapons. Get lost. Boom. In the sky, 2 people began to fight again. It was 2 young men fighting over a saint weapon. However, the 2 of them were afraid of each other, so when they saw the saint weapon fly away, they stopped and chased after it. Soon, the king weapons were almost all collected. Only a few saint weapons and a few jade boxes were left in the sky. The jade boxes were the fastest, and they streaked across the sky like lightning bolts. Buzz! Lu Ming soared into the sky and pounced on a holy weapon. This holy weapon was a jade bangle that was filled with demonic qi. Lu Ming thought of Xian Yanqing. This jade bangle was very suitable to be given to Xian Yanqing. Get lost. Lu Ming was not the only one who had his eyes on the jade bangle. 2 other young men were also interested in it. One of them was the demonic-looking young man who had attacked Lu Ming earlier. The other person was dressed in a green robe and had an evil smile on his face. The green-robed young man made a grabbing motion and streams of green mist spread towards Lu Ming. As soon as the mist appeared, a disgusting smell filled the air. Poisonous gas. This poisonous gas was extremely poisonous. However, Lu Ming was least afraid of poison. The devouring power covered Lu Ming's entire body. He ignored the green mist and rushed past it. Then, he struck his palm at the green-robed young man. The green-robed young man did not expect Lu Ming to completely ignore the poisonous gas. His expression changed, and with a wave of his hand, a group of densely packed poisonous insects appeared in front of him. The poisonous insects formed a shield in front of him. Lu Ming's palm struck down and a large number of poisonous insects exploded. The young man in green trembled and retreated dozens of meters. Bang! Then, Lu Ming's legs swept out like a steel whip toward the demonic-looking young man, forcing him to retreat. Lu Ming's right hand reached out and caught the jade bangle. And NBSP wang wang wang. The jade bangle in Lu Ming's hand was still vibrating nonstop. What a strong spiritual property! Lu Ming was overjoyed. The stronger the spirituality of a holy weapon, the higher its grade and the more precious it was. For example, Lu Ming's thunder cauldron and air-frozen bead definitely had extraordinary sounds. Hand over your saint weapon and I'll spare your life. The green-robed young man said as he stared at Lu Ming coldly. If you want to die, come here. Lu Ming's simple reply was extremely domineering. The green-robed young man's face was gloomy, and his body was filled with cold, killing intent. He was the leader of the Yudu sect, one of the 13 top forces that had entered the Great Emperor's secret realm. He was powerful and skilled in using poison. Even the leaders of the other sects were wary of him. Now, Lu Ming actually dared to speak to him in this manner. You're looking for death. He had already sentenced Lu Ming to death in his heart. 10,000 poison bloodthirsty. The green-robed young man shouted coldly and pounced at Lu Ming. He waved his palm and a dense swarm of poisonous insects appeared. These poisonous insects had a hard shell on their bodies and kept spewing poisonous gas from their mouths. What was even more amazing was that these poisonous insects were actually grouping up. Countless poisonous insects formed a combat weapon and charged at Lu Ming. In the air, more than 10 combat weapons suddenly appeared. They were all made up of poisonous insects, and they were either combat swords or combat sabers. The similarity was that each of them was filled with poison. Devour! Lu Ming opened his palm and the terrifying devouring power enveloped all the poisonous insects. The devouring power burst forth and the dense poisonous gas was instantly absorbed by Lu Ming. The poisonous insects were also sucked dry of their blood essence in an instant. Their blood fell to the ground like raindrops. What a powerful poisonous gas! After devouring so much poisonous gas, Lu Ming felt that his body was slightly numb. Lu Ming could not help but sigh at the power of this poisonous gas. This was the first time that Lu Ming's body felt numb from being poisoned. In the past, any poisonous gas that was devoured by Lu Ming's devouring power would be refined and would not affect him at all. This is the Yuan continent after all. This poisonous gas also gave Lu Ming a reminder. After all, this was the Yuan continent, not the continent group of the divine ruins. The laws of heaven and earth were complete, and everything in the world was different from the continent group of the divine ruins. It was possible that some terrifying poisonous gas was born, and even the devouring power could not devour it. Lu Ming warned himself that he could not be careless when facing poisonous gas in the future. Of course, the green-robed young man's poisonous gas was nothing to Lu Ming. It only numbed Lu Ming's body slightly before it was refined by the refining power. You! The green-robed young man looked at Lu Ming in disbelief. His poisonous gas had been devoured by Lu Ming. How was this possible? Even an expert with a much higher cultivation than him would not dare to face his poison head-on, let alone devour it into his body. You want to use this little bit of poisonous gas to poison people? What a joke! Lu Ming smiled indifferently and took a step forward. The terrifying chaos realm pressed toward the green-robed young man. The green-robed youth's expression changed drastically as he tried his best to block. However, his poisonous gas had lost its power and his combat strength was much weaker than the other leaders. He was crushed by Lu Ming's chaos domain and spat out a mouthful of blood. His body flew far away and many of his bone armor had been broken. Boom, boom. At this moment, the battle for the holy weapon had entered a state of white heat. More than a dozen young men were fighting over a few saint weapons. In the end, the saint weapons were taken away by different people. Luo Xiang of the Life and Death Sword sect had become even more powerful after receiving the inheritance of the Sword Way. His sword qi broke through the air and cut through everything, seizing a holy weapon. Shi Tian of the Tianshan sect also obtained a holy weapon like a god. He Yu of Dragon God Valley had the Blood Dragon combat body, which was extremely powerful. He had also obtained a saint weapon. This made the other young men green with envy. Chapter 1439. 1439 Besieging Lu Ming Bang. At this time, a flying jade box was accidentally broken by someone. Instantly, a palm-sized, jade-like armor appeared in the air, flickering with strange fluctuations. That's a spiritual god defensive treasure. Someone exclaimed. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the jade armor, their eyes burning with passion. Spiritual god defensive treasure? It was actually a spiritual god defensive treasure. No matter how powerful a martial artist's spiritual body was, the spiritual god was the weakest and the most fatal weakness of a martial artist. If one were to encounter a danger that could directly harm one's soul in some secret realms, historical remains, or forbidden grounds, a spiritual god defensive treasure could save one's life. This kind of treasure was extremely difficult to refine because it was linked to the soul. On the market, it was a treasure that couldn't be bought with money, and its value was immeasurable. It's mine! It's mine! More than a dozen young men moved at the same time and rushed toward the jade armor. Get lost! You're the one who should get lost. Boom! Boom, boom. More than a dozen people were engaged in an intense battle. Sword chi and saber radiance were everywhere. Everyone wanted to get the jade armor. For a time, no one could succeed. Buzz. Black wings appeared on Lu Ming's back. At the same time, he activated the wind element technique. With a flap of his wings, his figure suddenly disappeared. In the next moment, he broke through the layers of obstacles and appeared near the jade armor. "It's you!" a young man shouted. The holy light surged towards Lu Ming like a tide. The leader of the heavenly god sect, Shurtion. "Get lost!" Lu Ming shouted and took a step forward. He used the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps and his chaos domain burst out. The divine power on Shurtion's body fluctuated and trembled violently. His body trembled and he was sent flying by Lu Ming. Buzz. Lu Ming stretched out his hand and condensed a large hand, grabbing at the jade armor. "Don't even think about it." The others were in a chaotic battle. However, when they saw Lu Ming approaching the jade armor and was about to get it, they all attacked Lu Ming. All at once, there were at least 5 to 6 attacks that were aimed at Lu Ming. These people were the leaders of their respective sections. Their cultivation had reached LV2 Martial Royal Realm, and their attack power was extremely terrifying. When 5 or 6 of them joined forces, it was even more terrifying. "Block it!" The black wings on Lu Ming's back closed together and enveloped him. At the same time, the chaos domain spread out and covered his entire body. Thump. Boom! There was a violent boom, and the chaos domain and black wings shook violently. However, Lu Ming managed to block it. At the same time, he grabbed the jade armor and kept it in his storage ring. "Hand over the treasure. Otherwise die." A series of cold voices rang out. There were at least 6 auras that were firmly locked onto Lu Ming. Lu Ming's eyes swept across the room. 6 young men had surrounded him. Shurtion, Hiyu, Wang Xiao, the demonic-looking youth, the green-robed youth, and a tall and sturdy youth. The others, like Luo Xiang, stood on the side and didn't make a move. "With just the 6 of you, I'm afraid you're still a little lacking if you want to take my life." Lu Ming smiled indifferently. Also, Lu Ming turned his gaze to Hiyu and said, "We're from the same sect, and you're going to attack? You can't afford such a treasure. Leave it to me. I'll report it to the sect and give you a reward." Hiyu said coldly. "Leave it to you? Hee, what a hypocrite. If you want it, just say it." Lu Ming sneered. "Then I'll test you and see how much you're worth," Hiyu said coldly. His body was suffused with a blood-red light and a dragon's roar could be heard. A layer of fine blood-red dragon scales appeared on the surface of his skin. Bang! Hiyu took a step forward and pounced toward Lu Ming like a human-shaped T-Rex. His hand turned into a dragon's claw as he tried to grab Lu Ming. Blood dragon combat body. "I'd like to see how strong it is." Lu Ming threw a punch. Bang! The fist and the dragon claw collided with a dull boom. Then Hiyu's body trembled and he was forced to retreat. This person is so powerful. He can actually force Hiyu to retreat in a head-on battle. And NBSP, the gazes of the other youths around him focused. Among them, Hiyu's close combat ability was the strongest, and no one was his match in close combat. However, Lu Ming managed to force Hiyu to retreat. It was simply shocking. We'd better attack together. This man is demonic and not easy to deal with, Shurtion said with cold killing intent. Lu Ming was someone he had to kill. "I think so too. Let's join forces and kill this person." "Hiyu, you don't have any objections, right?" Wang Xiao said, his gaze turning to Hiyu. "Don't worry. This person is lawless. He even dared to hurt my fellow disciples of Dragon God Valley. He is lawless and deserves to be killed." Hiyu coldly said. Hee, so many people against one person, and you still speak so eloquently. How despicable. A disdainful voice was heard. It was not Lu Ming but Luo Xiang. Shurtion and the others' eyes turned cold, but they didn't say anything. "Attack!" Shurtion spoke and made the first move. Holy light surged around him and condensed into a holy spear, which flew toward Lu Ming. At the same time, Wang Xiao's palm released a burst of sword chi, and an extremely sharp sword light cut through the air towards Lu Ming. Then the youth in the green robe and the demonic Qi attacked. Together with Hiyu, the six of them could fight both at close range and at long range. Moreover, they were all peerless geniuses, and their combat strength far exceeded ordinary emperors. Even a LV4 martial royal realm expert would be killed in an instant if the six of them joined forces. Even those at the 5th level of the martial emperor realm had to retreat. "Kill, die!" Lu Ming shouted. He flapped his black wings and charged at one of them. Lu Ming would not stand in the middle like a fool and be a live target. If he wanted to fight, he would defeat them one by one. Lu Ming chose the green-robed young man. Among the six of them, the green-robed young man was the least threatening to Lu Ming. Lu Ming dodged 3 attacks at top speed and took 2 of them head-on. He rushed to the front of the young man in green. His third bloodline emerged and waves of energy surged into Lu Ming's body, increasing his strength once again. He stretched out his left hand and the devouring power burst out, covering the young man in green. At the same time, he threw a punch with his right hand. The prison-suppressing heavenly art combined with the chaos domain and crushed out. Boom! The air trembled, forming a terrifying fist force that struck toward the green-robed youth. The poisonous gas surrounding the green-robed young man was devoured by the devouring power. Then, Lu Ming's fist force landed with a loud bang. The green-robed young man screamed in pain. His body was blown apart by Lu Ming's fist force and turned into a cloud of green mist. The next moment, the mist condensed and tried to reform its body. The green-robed young man's spiritual body was a medium-grade earth spiritual body, a highly toxic spiritual body. Like a fire spiritual body, it had a strong life force and could turn into poisonous gas to reduce typhoid fever. And NBSP, however, the youth had still suffered unimaginable damage from the primal chaos domain. His green mist began to twist and convulse as he tried to recover, but it was difficult to do so in such a short time. Chapter 1440 Killing a Leader, Exterminate. Lu Ming pressed his palm and the chaos domain expanded, enveloping the poisonous gas that the green-robed young man had turned into and began to refine it. Help! The green mist rolled and the green-robed young man's scream came out. This sound was, of course, made by the vibration of energy. Release him! A loud roar was heard, and demonic might surged. A small tower filled with demonic qi flew out from the top of the young man's head. It expanded rapidly and pressed down on Lu Ming. A holy weapon! Without a doubt, this small pagoda was also a holy weapon. These people were the leaders of their respective sections. Being able to make it here, they naturally had great gains. Each of them had obtained a saint weapon. The demonic youth was called Wuxia, from the Tianyu demonic sect. This pagoda was the saint weapon he had obtained when he entered the great emperor's secret realm. Although he couldn't use much of a holy weapon's power with his cultivation, it was still stronger than an emperor weapon. The small pagoda turned into the size of a small mountain and pressed down on Lu Ming. There was a terrifying suction force at the bottom of the pagoda that seemed to be trying to suck Lu Ming in. Buzz! On Lu Ming's back, one of the black wings flapped out and expanded rapidly. Like a blade, it slashed at the pagoda. Clang! The small tower trembled, and demonic qi churned as it was sent flying. However, the black wings were suppressed by the small tower, and they also flew back. Boom! Boom! Buzz! Buzz! At this moment, a powerful aura burst out from Hiyu, Wang Xiao, Shi Tian, and the burly young man. A combat weapon emerged from each of their bodies. They were all holy weapons. They all used their holy weapons to kill Lu Ming. Lu Ming's expression turned grave. Without his holy weapon, Lu Ming would not be afraid even if he were to be besieged by 6 masters. He might even win. However, since all of the opponents had used their holy weapons, the effect of their own combat strength was reduced. It became a collision between holy weapons, which was not good for Lu Ming. Buzz! Lu Ming's glabella glowed and the lightning cauldron floated out. Bang! At this moment, a sword light flashed across the sky, and a jade box was shattered. A jade talisman flew out of the jade box. Hiyu and the rest surrounded Lu Ming, but the others were not just watching the show. They were chasing after the only 2 jade boxes left in the sky. The jade box from before contained a jade armor. It was clear that the treasure in the jade box was definitely more precious. As soon as the jade talismans appeared, the remaining few people began to fight for them. The faces of Hiyu, Shirtion and the others changed. I'll spare him this time," Shirtion said. He was the first to rush into the sky and participate in the fight for the jade talismans. When the others saw this, they also went to fight for the jade talismans. Lu Ming's expression was calm. He did not join in the fun. Instead, he looked at the last jade box. This jade box was the fastest of the three, and it danced in the air like a bolt of lightning. Buzz! Lu Ming suddenly made a move. He stretched out his palm and a huge hand formed, grabbing the jade box. However, the jade box was extremely agile. It dodged Lu Ming's palm in a flash. Then, Lu Ming cast the wind element technique in a flash and chased after the jade box like lightning. However, the jade box glowed and its speed suddenly increased, leaving Lu Ming in the dust. "I'll go!" Lu Ming could not help but curse in his heart. A jade box was actually faster than him. Was there any justice in this world? Lu Ming chased after the jade box. On the other side, the outcome of the battle for the jade talismans had already been decided. In the end, the jade talisman was obtained by a peerless woman. Shirtion and the others' eyes flickered, but they did not continue to snatch it. Obviously, they were quite afraid of this woman. At this time, everyone's eyes were on the last jade box. Immediately, everyone moved. Their figures moved horizontally and horizontally as they pounced towards the jade box. However, the jade box was extremely agile. It flashed in the air and dodged everyone's pounce. Even when someone used their saint weapon, it was useless. I suggest that we spread out in all directions of the stone room and release our domains to cover this stone room. This way, the jade box will have nowhere to escape. Someone suggested. Good. I don't have any objections. After we get this jade box, we'll fight for it with our own abilities. Someone else said. No one had any objections, and their figures flickered, scattering in all directions. A total of 13 people. Originally, there were 14 people in total, including Lu Ming. However, the green-robed young man was killed by Lu Ming, so there were 13 people left. Buzz! 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 A domain bloomed out from each of the 13 people. It expanded rapidly and slowly covered the entire stone room. The area that the jade box could move in became smaller and smaller. In the end, it had no choice but to be enveloped by the domain. "Ha, it's mine!" A young man was overjoyed. It was Shirtion. The jade box was finally covered by his domain. "Get over here!" Shirtion shouted as his territory rapidly contracted. The jade box glowed and wanted to escape. Then, with a bang, the jade box exploded, revealing the true appearance of the item inside. It was actually a medicinal pill. On it, there was a dense fluorescent light, and a strange phenomenon appeared. The aura of the great Tao lingered. Upon seeing this pill, everyone's eyes widened. The Saint Breakthrough Pill, it's the Saint Breakthrough Pill. This Saint Breakthrough Pill is mine. Demonic Jie was the first to roar. The others also revealed a blazing light. It was actually a Saint Breakthrough Pill. Even Lu Ming's heart was burning with passion. The Saint Breakthrough Pill could help one break through to the martial saint realm. It was extremely difficult for a martial emperor to defeat a martial saint. In the Yuan continent, there were as many peak-stage martial emperors as there were hairs on an ox. For example, in the 13 top sects of the Azure continent, there were also many peak-stage martial emperors. However, martial saints were indeed very, very few. Only martial saints could be considered experts in the Yuan continent. However, even top talents like Shirtion and Hiyu did not have the confidence to break through to the martial saint realm. In history, there had been many outstanding geniuses who had reached the peak of the martial emperor realm a long time ago, but had been unable to break through to the martial saint realm. They had been stuck at the peak of the martial emperor realm for their entire lives, and had died at the end of their lifespans. How could they be unwilling? The Saint Breakthrough Pill could increase the chances of breaking through to the martial saint realm by 30%. The probability of 30% was already very terrifying. It would make countless powerhouses at the peak of the martial emperor realm fight for it. This was especially so for the geniuses. If the probability increased by 30%, they would have a great chance of becoming a martial saint in the future. Don't even think about it. The Saint Breakthrough Pill just so happens to be in my domain. It's fated with me. Shi Tian roared, and his realm shrank, trying to get the Saint Breakthrough Pill. However, the Saint Breakthrough Pill seemed to have a mind of its own. With a shake, it actually broke through Shi Tian's domain and escaped from his control. It's mine! The others all flew up and pounced towards the Saint Breakthrough Pill. All kinds of light condensed into large hands that grabbed at the Saint Breakthrough Pill. However, the Saint Breakthrough Pill glowed and flew past them, piercing through the hands and making them miss. Buzz! Lu Ming cast the wind element technique. The black wings on his back flapped, and he pounced at the Saint Breakthrough Pill as fast as lightning. He appeared a few meters away from the pill in an instant. He stretched out his hand, and the chaos domain condensed into a palm, which grabbed at the Saint Breakthrough Pill. Chapter 1441, 1441 Chapter 1441 Saint Breakthrough Pill in hand. However, to Lu Ming's surprise, although the Saint Breakthrough Pill was blocked for a moment, it was only for a moment. The Saint Breakthrough Pill pierced through the large hand that Lu Ming had condensed and rushed past. Even the huge hand formed by the Chaos Domain could not stop the Saint Breakthrough Pill. The level of my Chaos Domain is still too low. Lu Ming's heart stirred. He knew that it wasn't that the Chaos Realm was useless, but that the level of his Chaos Realm was too low. It was only a level 1 realm, so it couldn't stop the Saint Breakthrough Pill. Then the others all made their moves, but none of them managed to get the Saint Breakthrough Pill. Suddenly, Lu Ming had an idea. Bubbles and Dandan appeared on his shoulders. The two fellows were still burping, and the smell of medicine was coming out of their mouths. Another spirit herb? As soon as Dandan appeared, her eyes were rolling around. Dandan, Bubble, help me get that lousy Saint Pill. Lu Ming sent a voice transmission to Dandan and Bubbles. Lu Ming had just finished speaking when Bubbles waved its pair of small claws. The space churned like waves as the bubble danced. Clang. The Saint Breakthrough Pill was flying, but it suddenly seemed to hit a hard wall with a thud. The space had been frozen by the bubble. Lu Ming was overjoyed. As expected of a space-time spirit mouse, Bubbles could control time and space. Even in the Yuan continent, where space was extremely stable, Bubbles could still control space. With a wave of her claws, the space around her was controlled and turned into a spatial box, sealing the Saint Breakthrough Pill within. As for Lu Ming, he moved his body and rushed over. Stop him! Wang Xiao shouted, and a sword light slashed towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. With a wave of his hand, he destroyed the sword ray. The mountain and river diagram appeared between his eyebrows. He was going to put the Saint Breakthrough Pill into the mountain and river diagram. However, at this moment, the Saint Breakthrough Pill shone brightly. The light was like a sharp sword, breaking the frozen space formed by the bubble in one fell swoop. Then, like a bolt of lightning, it rushed to the side of the stone room. On the side of the stone room, there was a passage. The Saint Breakthrough Pill rushed into the passage directly. Where do you think you're going? Lu Ming cast the wind element technique. With a flap of his black wings, he flew toward the tunnel like lightning. Chase! Behind him, the others were also chasing after him. Dandan, stop them. Lu Ming sent a voice transmission to Dandan. Leave it to me. Dandan grinned. Buzz. After Lu Ming rushed into the passage, Dandan opened its mouth. In a flash of light, a shield condensed and blocked the passage. Shi Tian was the first to arrive. He punched the shield, but the shield didn't move at all. Damn it! Shi Tian roared. Following that, the others also rushed over and launched their attacks. However, when their attacks landed on the tortoise-shell shield, they were unable to break it in a short time. Dandan had consumed too many spiritual herbs during this period of time, as well as a few half-saint herbs from before. Her injuries had already recovered, and she had even advanced. The turtle shell shield that he had condensed with all his strength was not so easy to break. Damn it, that's the core. Quickly break the turtle shell. Let's attack together. Anxious voices rang out as Shirtian, Wang Xiao, and the others joined forces to attack. The tortoise shield trembled, and it would be broken soon. However, to Lu Ming, it was enough that he could block it for a while. After Lu Ming rushed into the passage, he did not stop and chased after the Saint Breakthrough Pill at top speed. The bubble shrieked and suddenly flew off Lu Ming's shoulder. It opened its mouth and a transparent bubble suddenly appeared, enveloping the Saint Breakthrough Pill. The Saint Breakthrough Pill glowed and tried to break through, but it couldn't break through at all. This transparent bubble not only contained the space domain, but also the time domain. Next, bubbles flew over and swallowed the transparent bubbles in one gulp. Its furry body flashed and it returned to Lu Ming's shoulder. Then, it obediently opened its mouth, and the broken divine pill flew out. Lu Ming reached out and grabbed the Saint Breakthrough Pill. Lu Ming, I'll seal it. Dandan spoke and then waved her claws. Dense inscriptions appeared and wrapped around the Saint Breakthrough Pill, forming a sealing formation. Not only could it prevent the Saint Breakthrough Pill from flying around, but it could also prevent the loss of medicinal strength. Saint Breakthrough Pill. Lu Ming smiled. He took out a jade box and put the Saint Breakthrough Pill in it, putting it away in a storage ring. The Saint Breakthrough Pill was priceless. For those who were stuck at the peak of the martial emperor realm and could not break through, it was more precious than any holy weapon. Those people would be willing to buy a Saint Breakthrough Pill even if they had to go bankrupt. Of course, Lu Ming did not plan to sell it. Such an item would be of great use if he kept it with him. Lu Ming kept the Saint Breakthrough Pill and looked ahead. In front of the passage, there seemed to be traces of light. We should be approaching the core of the emperor's bedroom. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat and he stepped forward. As for Dandan and Bubbles, they returned to the mountain and river diagram to continue digesting the medicinal effects. It didn't take long for them to reach the passageway. However, the amazing thing was that when they looked out from the passageway, it was like a starry sky. And that light came from the starry sky. Is it really the starry sky outside the passage? Lu Ming muttered in his heart. He muttered to himself for a moment before he stepped out and walked out. The moment Lu Ming stepped out of the passageway, he felt the space around him change. The next moment he found himself in a starry sky. It was a real starry sky. Up, down, left, right, there were stars all around, and he was floating in the starry sky. The next moment, Lu Ming's eyes widened in shock. In the starry sky ahead, there were two huge objects. One of them was a huge goshawk. This goshawk was too huge and majestic. It covered the sky and seemed to be even bigger than the stars. A pair of huge eyes were looking at Lu Ming. It was alive. The huge goshawk was actually alive. In front of the goshawk was a human figure. The figure was also extremely huge, like a giant that could support the sky. However, this figure's appearance could not be seen clearly. It was shrouded in a layer of black light and twisted in the starry sky, looking extremely evil. The huge figure seemed to be sizing Lu Ming up. However, Lu Ming realized that both the goshawk and the huge human figure seemed to be severely injured. One of the goshawk's wings was missing, and it was covered in wounds. Some of the wounds were even bleeding. The huge eyes were very bright, but they seemed a little listless. It was a very strange feeling. The giant figure was not any better. It was missing a leg, had claw marks on its body, and even had a large hole in its chest. Emperor Song, it seems like you have lost in the end. You have fought against me for 60,000 years, struggling to catch your breath, but in the end, I am still slightly stronger. You will eventually be buried here. At this moment, the huge figure laughed. His laughter was like a thunderclap, rumbling between heaven and earth. Chapter 1442 Emperor Song is not dead. Lu Ming's mind was filled with a series of explosions. Lu Ming was dumbfounded and in disbelief. Emperor Song? That figure was called Emperor Song. Could it be that the massive goshawk in front of them was Emperor Song? It was said that Emperor Song's original form was a goshawk. Emperor Song was not dead yet. At this moment, Lu Ming was extremely shocked. Emperor Song had disappeared for 60,000 years and he was still alive. Now Lu Ming saw him with his own eyes. That huge figure was obviously a great emperor. Shakyamuni, annihilating soul, even if I die, I will drag you down with me. The goshawk said. Haha, dragging me down with you? In your dreams. So many people have entered this secret realm. They are competing and killing each other. How many vengeful spirits, evil chi, and soul chi have they produced? I have absorbed these soul chi and have recovered a little. Even if it's only a little, it's enough to suppress you. In addition, there are some young Heaven's Pride experts who are about to reach this place. As long as I devour and refine their flesh and blood, my Yuan Qi will recover a little. Emperor Tsang, that will be the day of your death. Emperor Tsang, I've prepared a huge tomb for you 60,000 years ago. Even if you put up a stubborn resistance and fought against me for 60,000 years, what's the use? The outcome is already decided, even the heavens are on my side. The huge figure laughed. At this moment, countless thoughts emerged in Lu Ming's mind. Through the conversation between Emperor Tsang and that figure, many doubts in Lu Ming's heart were resolved. It was said that Emperor Tsang had disappeared 60,000 years ago and there was no news of him since. From the looks of it, Emperor Tsang met with a strong enemy and fought with him for 60,000 years. As for Emperor Tsang's subordinates, many of the skeletons that Lu Ming had found previously were most likely killed by powerful enemies. This opponent was also a great emperor. He was extremely powerful and engaged in an earth-shattering battle with Emperor Tsang. In the end, both of them were injured. However, what shocked Lu Ming was that Emperor Tsang and the huge figure were still fighting even though both of them were injured. They had been fighting for 60,000 years. The power of a great emperor was truly unimaginable. Now, the barging of Lu Ming and the rest seemed to have broken the deadlock. Before this, Lu Ming suddenly raised his eyebrows. Previously, in the stone room where he obtained the black feather wings, there was an eagle that was formed to stop him from moving forward. That should be Emperor Tsang's eagle. The black shadow behind him, who was fighting with Emperor Tsang, should be the giant figure in front of him, Shakyamuni, annihilating soul. Emperor Tsang did not want Lu Ming and the others to continue, but Shakyamuni, annihilating soul, wanted them to continue because he wanted to refine their flesh and blood. Many thoughts appeared in Lu Ming's mind. At that moment, the huge black shadow looked at Lu Ming again and said in a loud voice, "Why are you alone? All right, I'll refine you first and wait for the others." Then, a huge hand grabbed at Lu Ming. "Run!" Without thinking, Lu Ming turned and ran. However, the huge hand was so huge that it covered the sky and the sun. Moreover, the aura that it exuded was extremely terrifying. In an instant, Lu Ming felt as if his body was about to explode. The chaos realm covered his entire body and trembled continuously. Dragon roars could be heard from within his body. It was as if 9 dragons had emerged from Lu Ming's body. Chaos domain. It's actually the chaos domain. Shakyamuni, annihilating soul's voice was filled with shock. The primal chaos domain. A prodigy like this should be exterminated. Dharma King, annihilating soul's voice was filled with killing intent. Don't even think about it. With a long cry, a huge wing swept out, as if it wanted to split the entire starry sky. It struck the huge palm and destroyed it. Emperor Tsang, you are courting death. The light on Shakyamuni, annihilating soul's body shone brightly. Like a god, he charged towards Emperor Tsang. Emperor Tsang let out a long cry and fought with Shakyamuni, annihilating soul. The scene of the two of them fighting in the starry sky was too terrifying. The stars would be destroyed and the starry sky would shatter. Emperor Tsang and Shakyamuni, annihilating soul, were still extremely far away from Lu Ming. However, the aura of the battle made it hard for Lu Ming to breathe. He felt extremely oppressed. Great Emperor, this is the great Emperor. He's too powerful. Emperors are like ants in front of him. No, even saints are ants. Lu Ming muttered to himself and retreated rapidly. There was no way out in this starry sky. He couldn't see the tunnel he had come from. Lu Ming could only retreat and try to stay away from the two great emperors. Little guy, since you've come here, your fate has already been decided. You'll become my nourishment. Shakyamuni, annihilating soul's voice rang out. A jet-black ray of light shot across the boundless starry sky and shot toward Lu Ming. At this moment, Lu Ming seemed to be fixed in place. He could not move at all. At this moment, the bubble appeared. It chirped and waved its claws rapidly. The space around Lu Ming was filled with cracking sounds. Lu Ming felt his body relax and he could move again. He flapped his black wings and at the same time, the energy of the air-frozen bead between his brows surged into Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's figure retreated frantically. Even if he was facing a great emperor, Lu Ming would not wait helplessly for his death. Even if the chances of survival were small, he would fight for it. The space-time spirit rat, one of the top 10, is still alive. He should be killed. The killing intent of Shakyamuni annihilating soul was extremely strong. Don't even think about it. Emperor Tsang roared and spat out a ray of light. It blocked the ray of light that Dharma King annihilating soul shot at Lu Ming. Emperor Tsang, you can't stop him. Even if I don't kill you today, I'll kill the brat who comprehended the chaos domain and the space-time spirit rat. The voice of the soul-destroying royal technique contained boundless killing intent. At this moment, there were at least a dozen black rays of light that shot toward Lu Ming. So many! Lu Ming's pupils contracted rapidly. Although Emperor Tsang and Shakyamuni annihilating soul were severely injured and had been fighting against each other for 60,000 years, they were still extremely terrifying existences to Lu Ming. They could easily kill him. Emperor Tsang let out a long howl and flapped his wings. A dozen feathers flew out like a dozen divine swords and blocked the rays of black light. But in the end, Shakyamuni annihilating soul had the upper hand. There was still a ray of black light that dodged Emperor Tsang's attack and shot towards Lu Ming. Bubbles shouted loudly. He opened his mouth and spat out a transparent bubble that suddenly appeared in front of him. It enveloped the jet-black radiance, hoping to block it. However, as the black light flew past, the transparent bubble shattered. Although Bubbles was a space-time spirit mouse and could control space-time, his cultivation base was far too inferior to the other parties, so he was completely useless. The black light did not stop and shot toward Lu Ming. At this moment, Lu Ming felt as if all the blood in his body had frozen. He could not move his body at all. Am I going to die here? A thought emerged in Lu Ming's mind. The great emperor was too powerful. He was the pinnacle expert of the world and the master of the world. Lu Ming stood no chance against such an expert. No matter how unwilling he was, the difference was too big, too big. Chapter 1443, 1443 Lightning Cauldron Suppression. The black light was about to reach Lu Ming's glabella. Buzz. At this moment, Lu Ming's glabella glowed and the lightning cauldron rushed out. The moment the lightning cauldron appeared, it expanded to 100,000 feet in size and blocked Lu Ming. Thump. The jet-black light struck the lightning cauldron, causing it to shake violently. Lightning flashed across the sky, eventually extinguishing the jet-black light. An absolute saint weapon. Shakyamuni annihilating soul let out an angry roar. Good, a thunder-attributed absolute saint weapon is perfect to counter you, Shakyamuni annihilating soul. It seems like the heavens aren't protecting you. In your current state, a thunder-attributed absolute saint weapon is more than enough to deal with you. Emperor Tsang's surprised voice rang out. At the same time, Emperor Tsang's voice rang in Lu Ming's mind. Little brat, lend me your absolute saint weapon. All right. Lu Ming did not hesitate. With a single thought, the lightning cauldron flew forward. Emperor Tsang flapped one of his wings and the lightning cauldron flew towards him at an extreme speed. Furthermore, it rapidly grew in size until it was almost as big as Emperor Tsang's body. On top of it, there were endless flashes of lightning and it exuded a terrifying aura. Is this the true power of the lightning cauldron? Lu Ming's eyes widened. He now knew that the lightning cauldron was an absolute saint weapon. In the past, when it was in Lu Ming's hands, the power it could unleash was simply a drop in the ocean. With Lu Ming's cultivation base, he could not unleash much of the lightning cauldron's power. But now that the lightning cauldron was in Emperor Tsang's hands, it was completely different. Its power was completely unleashed and it was extremely shocking. The huge thunder cauldron pressed down on Shakyamuni annihilating soul, and countless thunderbolts as thick as mountains kept bombarding him. The Shakyamuni annihilating soul roared. The black light on his body twisted and even emitted a sizzling sound. The cultivation technique he cultivated was countered by lightning. However, with his cultivation level, if he was at his peak, he wouldn't even care about the lightning cauldron. But now he was extremely weak. The threat of the lightning cauldron was even greater. Furthermore, it was under the control of Emperor Tsang. Boom, boom. The lightning cauldron slowly pressed down, completely drowning Shakyamuni annihilating soul. Emperor Tsang, you can't kill me. You can't kill me with just an absolute saint weapon. Shakyamuni annihilating soul roared. I just need to suppress you temporarily. Emperor Tsang's voice rang out. Then, a voice rang in Lu Ming's ears. Little brat, I can't return this lightning cauldron to you for now. However, as compensation, I'll give you my storage ring. There was a flash of light and it shattered the void, appearing in front of Lu Ming in an instant. It was a storage ring, Emperor Tsang's storage ring. Lu Ming's heart started to beat rapidly. He grabbed the storage ring. Little brat, I'm going to take Shakyamuni annihilating soul and leave this place. I'll use the power of the void to suppress him. You guys should leave quickly. Emperor Tsang's voice rang out again. Then, Lu Ming felt a strong force pulling him and he disappeared from the starry sky. The next moment, Lu Ming appeared in the void. I'm out. Lu Ming looked at the huge goshawk in front of him. It was Emperor Tsang's bedroom. He had exited from it. At this moment, the air around Lu Ming rippled and figures appeared in the sky. Those who entered Emperor Tsang's bedchamber were all teleported out. This included Shirtian, Wang Xiao, and the others. Damn it, what's going on? Wang Xiao roared. They were blocked by the turtle shell shield condensed by Dandan and were about to break it, but at this time, they were inexplicably teleported out. It was the same for the others. Some of them were extremely angry and unwilling to be teleported out just as they were about to get a treasure. Gah! At that moment, a long cry came from Emperor Tsang's bedchamber. Then, under everyone's shocked gaze, it flapped its wings and flew into the depths of the sky. Boom! 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 In the depths of the sky, space cracked open as Emperor Tsang's bedroom flew into it, vanishing from sight. What's going on? Why did Emperor Tsang's chamber suddenly fly away? No, it's my treasure. The scene was in a mess. Some people were roaring while others were shocked. Lu Ming, is it because of you? All of a sudden, a voice rang out and reverberated throughout the entire place. Many people quieted down and could not help but look at Lu Ming. Wang Xiao. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold as he looked at Wang Xiao. The person who had shouted just now was none other than Wang Xiao. Lu Ming, previously, you used despicable means to stop us. You were the only one who entered the core of Emperor Tsang's bedroom. Not long after you entered, we were teleported out and Emperor Tsang's bedroom flew away on its own. It must be because of you. Wang Xiao said coldly. What? Lu Ming was the only one who entered the core of Emperor Tsang's chamber. He actually entered the core of Emperor Tsang's chamber? Many people looked at Lu Ming with surprise and thought. That's right. Lu Ming, did you obtain Emperor Tsang's inheritance? Is that why Emperor Tsang's bedroom flew away? Shi Tian stepped out, his body was filled with divine light, and he said coldly. His words made most of the people's eyes glow with a burning light. They fixed their gazes on Lu Ming, the inheritance of a great emperor. When they thought of these words, everyone's heart burned with passion. I didn't obtain Emperor Tsang's inheritance. Lu Ming explained. Who would believe that? Lu Ming, you must have obtained Emperor Tsang's inheritance. Now, hand over the inheritance. It's impossible for you to keep it for yourself. Wang Xiao said. That's right, the inheritance of the great emperor is not something you can swallow alone. Shi Tian followed. That's right. Hand over the inheritance. Otherwise, today will be the day you die. It's best to search his storage ring and his soul. Everything will be clear now in case he hides anything. Right. The others followed suit and shouted. They stared at Lu Ming coldly and slowly formed a circle, surrounding Lu Ming in the middle. What are you guys doing? Do you think that Dragon God Valley is weak? My fellow brothers, help Lu Ming. In the crowd, Qiu Yingying cried out. That's right. Senior brothers, let's help Lu Ming break out of this encirclement. Yuan Tian chimed in. Hee hee, what a joke. This is a personal grudge between Lu Ming and the other sections. Disciples of the Dragon God Valley, listen up. No one is allowed to help Lu Ming. Otherwise, if he offends the other sects because of his personal grudge and causes the Dragon God Valley to be on bad terms with the other sects, you will bear the responsibility. Yin Feng shouted, his voice spreading far and wide. When he found out that Lu Ming had actually entered the Emperor's Encore, he was extremely jealous and wished that Lu Ming would die. That's right. Disciples of Dragon God Valley, don't move. As he spoke, his body moved and his powerful aura locked onto Qiu Yingying, Qiu Hao, Yuan Tian and the others. You guys? You're all despicable. The elders have already said that we should work together. Qiu Yingying called out. Shut up, Dai. He shouted coldly. His powerful aura pressed down on Qiu Yingying's body, causing her to have difficulty breathing. Chapter 1444 Killing everyone. Ying, you don't have to say anything. These clowns can't do anything to me. Lu Ming said, his voice was heard. Presumptuous. Kid, hand over the inheritance of Emperor Tsong. Otherwise, I will make sure you die without an intact corpse. Hurry up. All around, the young men were staring at Lu Ming with greedy eyes. I've already said that I didn't receive Emperor Tsong's inheritance. Also, let me remind you that if you want to make a move, then you must be prepared to be killed. Lu Ming said, a cold, murderous intent flashing in his eyes. What a joke. There are so many of us here. Let's see who you can kill. Wang Xiao laughed coldly as he stepped forward. Above his head, a battle sword hovered, emitting a terrifying aura. It was a saint weapon. On the other side, Shi Tian stepped out with a saint weapon above his head. Then, demonic Jie did the same, appearing in another direction. Other than the three of them, there were three other leaders. They took out their holy weapons and surrounded Lu Ming. 3 breaths. Lu Ming will give you 3 breaths. If you don't hand over the Thearch's legacy, you'll be stuck here forever. Wang Xiao said coldly. 1. Then, Shi Tian started counting. At the side, the other young men looked at Lu Ming coldly. They were filled with killing intent and were ready to attack at any time. 2. Then, Shi Tian spoke again. Buzz. At that moment, black wings appeared on Lu Ming's back. With a flap, Lu Ming soared into the sky. He's trying to escape. Don't even think about it. Wang Xiao, Shi Tian, and the other 6 leaders reacted the fastest. They all chased after Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming's body, which was in midair, suddenly stopped. Then he changed his direction, passed Shi Tian and the other 6, and rushed down. Who said I wanted to escape? Since you want to kill me, then kill me. Lu Ming shouted and rushed into the crowd below. The black wings were like 2 heavenly blades. With a single slash, more than 10 young men were cut in half. He killed more than a dozen people in one move. Attack together and kill him. Someone shouted. Instantly, countless attacks were aimed at Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming's chaos domain spread and the black wings covered the chaos domain. Its power was even more terrifying. With a sweep, some of the attacks were shattered. Buzz. Lu Ming charged into the crowd as if he was in a deserted place. He swept his black wings and another dozen people were killed. Bush, bush, bush. Then, the black feathers on the black wings flew out like divine swords and stabbed in all directions. One by one, the young men's foreheads or dantian were pierced through. No! Shrill screams filled the air. In an instant, more than 100 people died at Lu Ming's hands. The smell of blood filled the air. Lu Ming, you're an evil demon. You're killing innocent people. They'll get rid of you today. Shi Tian roared. His eyes were red. Almost half of the people that Lu Ming had killed were disciples of the Tianshan sect. Evil spirit? It's ridiculous that you're killing innocents. You're the ones who started it first. I've told you that if you want to kill me, you should be prepared to be killed. Do you naively think that I can't resist if you want to kill me? Lu Ming's cold voice was heard. He flapped his black wings and dodged Shirtian and the other leaders, killing the others. The rest of the young men, even those with innate spirit bodies, were no match for Lu Ming. One by one, they screamed in pain as they were killed by Lu Ming. Their attacks could not cause any damage to Lu Ming. The ground was covered with corpses. Soon, hundreds of people had died at Lu Ming's hands. Outside the crowd, Yin Feng and the others gasped. This guy is getting more and more terrifying. I must find a chance to kill him. Yin Feng thought to himself. Retreat! All of you retreat! Shirtian roared. The young men fled in all directions, trying to get as far away from Lu Ming as possible. Shirtian and the other 5 were pursuing Lu Ming with all their might. Buzz! Lu Ming's figure suddenly stopped. Shirtian's group of 6 surrounded Lu Ming again. This time, they focused their attention and locked their auras on Lu Ming, afraid that he would escape. Lu Ming, a demon like you must not be allowed to live in this world. Shirtian roared. Hurry up and hand over Emperor Tsong's inheritance, and he'll leave your corpse intact. Wang Shao said coldly. Hee, do you really think that I'm afraid of you? The corners of Lu Ming's lips curled into a cold smile. Bang! Lu Ming took a step forward and walked towards Wang Shao. Let's attack together. Wang Shao's eyes flashed with a hint of fear. He did not dare to face Lu Ming alone. Attack! Boom, boom, boom. Shirtian and the others activated their holy weapons one after another. The power of their holy weapons burst out, and they were about to attack Lu Ming. Chirp. At this moment, bubbles started chirping on Lu Ming's shoulder. Suddenly, 6 transparent bubbles emerged and enveloped Shirtian and the other 6. Kill! Lu Ming roared as he charged towards Wang Shao. Space-time domain. Wang Shao roared, his heart trembling as he pushed his saint weapon to its limits. A shocking sword chi was slashed out. The transparent bubble trembled and was cut open by the sword chi. The power of a holy weapon was unparalleled. The bubble wouldn't be able to hold all 6 of them for long. The others also used their saint weapons to break the bubble. However, this short moment was enough for Lu Ming. 9 seals of the Gate of God, seal, seal. Lu Ming shouted. 5 gates of sealing suddenly appeared around Wang Shao, emitting a brilliant light and sealing him. As Lu Ming broke through to the martial royal realm, he had also achieved a breakthrough in the 9 seals of the Gate of God and cultivated 5 gates of sealing. The 9 seals of the Gate of God was a secret technique used by emperors, and it was extremely powerful. With 5 gates of sealing, Wang Shao was instantly sealed. Kill! Lu Ming appeared in front of Wang Shao and threw a punch at him. Boom! The power of that punch caused Wang Shao's heart to tremble. Buzz! However, right at this moment, a suit of armor suddenly appeared on Wang Shao's body, enveloping him within. Thump! Lu Ming's punch landed on the armor, causing it to tremble. Wang Shao was sent flying dozens of miles away, slamming into a mountain and coughing up blood. Holy weapon armor! Lu Ming's heart stirred. This saint weapon was most likely the one Wang Shao had been wearing before he entered. Lu Ming sighed. These people were really rich. They even had holy weapons and armors. Buzz! Lu Ming's figure flickered as he charged towards Wang Shao. Catch up to him! Stop him! Shirtian and the rest roared as they charged towards Lu Ming. However, their speed was still slower than Lu Ming's. As soon as they moved, Lu Ming appeared in front of Wang Shao. Don't think that I can't do anything to you just because you're hiding in your turtle shell. Lu Ming said coldly and stepped on it. Boom! With a single stomp, Wang Shao's foot landed on the armor on his body, causing the rocks on the mountain to explode. Wang Shao's entire body was embedded within the rocks. Chapter 1445 1445 Chapter 1445 Secret Land Collapses, Kill. At this moment, Shirtian arrived. Get lost! Lu Ming grabbed one of Wang Shao's legs and swung him like a hammer at Shirtian. Boom! Shirtian was sent flying by Wang Shao. Ah, Lu Ming, I'm going to kill you. Wang Shao howled as blood spurted out of his mouth. Although he had a holy weapon and armor to protect him, the power would still seep into his body from the constant attacks, heavily injuring him. Nonsense. Lu Ming grabbed one of Wang Shao's legs and lifted him up again, slamming him heavily into the mountain. Thump. The mountain peak trembled, and rocks flew everywhere as a large crater was smashed into it. Wang Shao howled in pain as he coughed up another mouthful of blood. Just now, Wang Shao and Shi Tian were the ones who were the most arrogant. Lu Ming decided to just focus on one of them and torture him until he was scared. Boom, boom, boom. Then, Lu Ming picked up Wang Shao and smashed him down on the mountain peak. The mountain peak shook and gravel flew everywhere. A large piece of the huge mountain peak was shattered. When Shi Tian, Ma Jie, and the rest were about to attack, Lu Ming lifted Wang Shao and attacked them. Currently, Wang Shao was covered by the armor and was like a sledgehammer. It was easy to use him. In the distance, the others were dumbfounded. Wang Shao was the leader of the Jiuxiao sword sex expedition into the Great Emperor's secret realm. But now, he was in such a miserable state. He could not resist Lu Ming's attack and was completely suppressed by him. He was being smashed by Lu Ming like a hammer. Wang Shao himself even felt like dying. He had lost all his face. Boom, boom, boom. Right at this moment, the heavens and earth began to shake violently. Furthermore, the shaking was getting more and more intense, as if the entire world was shaking. Boom, boom. Then, the ground cracked open, and lava that was thousands of feet high rushed out. Not good, this secret realm is going to collapse. One figure after another rushed into the sky, and someone shouted. Maybe it's because Emperor Tsong's chamber flew away. What do we do? If the secret realm collapses, we'll all die here. The scene was noisy, and someone shouted in fear. Let's fly up. When we first entered this secret realm, it looked like a bubble. There must be an end to it in the sky. Let's fly up and get out of here. Yes, up. Buzz. And NBSP whoosh. Beams of light flew into the depths of the sky. Gotcha. In the sky, the space suddenly cracked open, revealing a pitch-black spatial crack. A few young men screamed as they were swallowed by the space. If it was in the continent group of the divine ruins, martial emperors would be fine if they entered the dark void. However, it was different here. The space was stable, but correspondingly, the power of spatial cracks was even more shocking. If a martial emperor entered, he would definitely die. The space is about to crack. Be careful of spatial cracks. Someone shouted. One figure after another flew up at an extremely fast speed. Shi Tian, Ma Jie, and the rest had ugly expressions. They could not be bothered with Lu Ming and flew up into the sky to escape. Get lost. Lu Ming threw Wang Shao into a crack in the ground and into the lava. Then, he flapped his black wings and soared into the sky. In a few breaths, Lu Ming appeared beside Qiu Ying, Qiu Hao, and Ruan Tian. They'll take you guys and charge together, Lu Ming said. His chaos domain enveloped Qiu Ying and the rest. He then flapped his black wings and shot into the sky like a bolt of lightning. Boom, boom, boom. The world was shaking more and more violently. Below, the earth cracked open and lava wreaked havoc. It was a scene of doomsday. In the sky, streaks of rainbow light flew into the sky. After flying for tens of thousands of miles, they finally saw a light screen. We're here. Someone rushed into the light curtain, and the light curtain trembled and disappeared. It's really possible. Everyone was overjoyed and rushed into the light screen. Lu Ming saw that Ma Jie, Hiyu, Shi Tian, and the others had all rushed into the light screen. After that, the others did the same. Ying, you guys go out first, Lu Ming said. Lu Ming, what are you doing? Showing it. Kill a person, Lu Ming said coldly. He then waved his hand and sent Qiu Ying and the rest into the light screen, disappearing. Then, Lu Ming looked down diagonally. There, a sword light was flying up at an extreme speed. It was Wang Shao. He had been beaten half to death by Lu Ming and thrown into the lava. If not for his holy weapon armor, he would have been burned to death. He finally managed to rush out and escape to the sky. However, this way he was at the back. With a flap of his black wings, coupled with the wind elemental technique, Lu Ming's figure turned into a black light and he flew down. Hurry, hurry, hurry! Wang Xiao flew with all his might. The secret realm was crumbling more and more, and if he was one step slower, he would not be able to break out. At the same time, he kept roaring in his heart. In his mind, he was planning how to take revenge on Lu Ming crazily after he got out. Suddenly, he saw a black light flash and pounce towards him at extreme speed. Lu Ming, what do you want to do? Wang Xiao roared. I'm here to kill you. Lu Ming laughed coldly as he looked down from above. He continued to use the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps, and the power of his 9 steps merged into one, forming a huge footprint that stomped down on Wang Xiao. Wang Xiao bellowed in rage as he slashed out with his sword. The sword light landed on Lu Ming's footprint, breaking it apart. However, Wang Xiao's body was still sent flying. Buzz! Lu Ming once again chased after Wang Xiao. Lu Ming, you're crazy. Do you want to die? Wang Xiao howled in fear. He had a holy weapon and armor that could block Lu Ming's attack. However, if he could not get out of the secret realm before it collapsed, even the holy weapon and armor would not be able to save his life. Kill! Lu Ming swooped down, his black wings slashing out like blades. A holy weapon armor appeared on Wang Xiao's body, and with a sword in his hand, he slashed at Lu Ming. Clang! The combat sword struck the black wings, causing sparks to fly and the force to be unrestrained. Lu Ming's body was slightly blocked, but Wang Xiao's body was like a cannonball, falling down. Boom! 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 At this moment, the earth and sky were shaking even more violently. More and more spatial cracks appeared in the sky. The ground below was completely covered by lava. This secret realm could collapse completely at any moment. However, Lu Ming had no intention of stopping. He continued to charge at Wang Xiao. Madman, you're a madman. Stop, stop. Wang Xiao howled. At this moment, he was really afraid. Lu Ming was a lunatic. In order to kill him, he would even throw away his own life. If this continued, he and Lu Ming would both die here. It was good that Lu Ming was dead, but he did not want to die. Now he regretted it. He regretted provoking Lu Ming, this perverted lunatic. Humans have to pay the price for their actions. Lu Ming said coldly. He flapped his black wings and continued to slash at Wang Xiao. Chapter 1446, 1446. Forcing Lu Ming. Wang Xiao went berserk, wanting to fly up into the sky, but Lu Ming's black wings cut him off completely. He could only try his best to block it, and his entire body fell again. Thump! Boom! Lu Ming swooped down, launching attacks at Wang Xiao. The two of them were getting further and further away from the sky, and closer to the ground. Boom! Gotcha! The ground exploded, and lava filled the sky. A scorching aura kept surging. In the sky, more and more spatial cracks appeared, covering the sky like a spider web. Bang! Some of the spaces actually shattered like glass. The sky had collapsed. This secret realm was about to be destroyed. At this moment, the others had long since rushed out of the secret realm, leaving only Wang Xiao and Lu Ming. Ah! Wang Xiao roared, his voice filled with despair. Now, even if he wanted to rush out, it would be very difficult. Lu Ming, since you're going to die, let's die together. Wang Xiao roared madly as he charged towards Lu Ming. Clang! His divine weapon sword slashed at Lu Ming's black wings. His body trembled and he was sent flying backward by the power of the chaos domain. Who wants to die with you? Let's go, Lu Ming said indifferently. He spread his black wings and soared into the sky, flying thousands of miles in an instant. However, in front of him were dense spatial cracks, and there was no way out. Trip! At this moment, Pow Pow cried out and a milky white glow emanated from its body. It waved its claws and a passageway appeared in front of Lu Ming. It was a space-time passageway. Lu Ming took a step in and disappeared. No, no, bring me. Upon seeing this, Wang Xiao's mind completely collapsed as he madly flew towards the space-time tunnel. However, in the next instant, the space-time tunnel disappeared, leaving only Wang Xiao's indignant roar. Lu Ming appeared in the sky thousands of miles above. But then, the bubbles repeated the same trick and opened a space-time tunnel. In the Yuan continent, with Bubbles' cultivation, she could not open the space-time tunnel for too long. It was only a few thousand miles at a time, but it was enough. After a few times, Lu Ming saw the light screen again and rushed in. Outside the tomb, at the place where Lu Ming and the rest had entered, there was a saint from each of the 13 sects and forces. They were waiting quietly with some deacons. The huge tomb was also quietly floating in the air. Suddenly, behind the tomb, there was a violent rumble in the void. Gah! Then, they heard the long cry of an eagle. The space started to shake and some places even cracked. "What's that? A goshawk?" Someone shouted. They saw a huge goshawk soaring into the sky, breaking through the void. "That's not a real goshawk. It's a fortress. Could it be Emperor Song's bedroom? Emperor Song's chamber? No way. Could it be that Emperor Song is not dead?" A series of voices sounded. The 13 sages were in disbelief. If Emperor Song had not died and returned, the skies of the Azure continent would have changed. However, the huge goshawk did not break out of the void. Instead, it shattered the void and disappeared in the depths of the void. What happened in the Emperor Song's secret realm? They were filled with doubt, but they could only wait quietly. Gotcha! Not long after, the gravestone of the tomb suddenly opened, and figures rushed out from it. As soon as Lu Ming rushed into the light screen, his surroundings changed. Lu Ming realized that there was a platform in front of him. Many people were standing there and looking in his direction. "Lu Ming! Brother Lu!" On the platform, Xiao Yingying, Xiao Hao, Ruan Tian, and the rest were craning their necks to look over. When they saw Lu Ming, they were overjoyed. It was obvious that they were worried and had been waiting here. Lu Ming flew over and nodded to everyone. Boom, boom. A series of rumbling sounds came from that secret realm. Looking at the secret realm from here, one could see a huge ball with mountains and lakes inside. However, at this time, the mountains and lakes had already exploded, and the whole ball was covered with cracks. In the end, the entire round ball exploded, and the entire area was in chaos. One of the secret realms exploded and returned to chaos, disappearing into the endless void. If Wang Xiao hadn't rushed out, he definitely wouldn't be alive. "Let's go," Lu Ming said. They randomly chose a passage and went back the way they came. Not long after, they returned to the interior of the tomb and found that the door of the tomb had already been opened. They rushed out one after another. As soon as he rushed out of the light barrier, he discovered that there were many people moving in the air. As long as they weren't dead, most of them had already come out. The people at the scene took the initiative to divide themselves into 13 areas. Lu Ming and the others flew towards the Dragon God Valley area. What happened in the Emperor Song's secret realm? Why did it collapse? An old voice was heard, and a saint couldn't help but ask. Many people looked at each other. They did not know why the Emperor Song mystic realm collapsed. One of us must know that Lu Ming from Dragon God Valley had entered the core of Emperor Song's chamber. Then, the changes that happened later on occurred. I speculate that he must have obtained Emperor Song's inheritance. In the area of the Heavenly God sect, Shi Tian was the first to speak. What? Emperor Song's inheritance? Many people heard this and looked in the direction of Dragon God Valley with burning eyes, including some of the saints. The inheritance of a great emperor, how tempting was that? Who is Lu Ming? An expert stepped out from the Tianshan sect. A terrifying aura emanated from his body. This person was the sage expert of the Tianshan sect. "It's him." Shi Tian pointed at Lu Ming. This time, everyone's eyes were on Lu Ming. "Is this true?" said a saint from another sect. "I can testify that everything Shi Tian said is true." Mo Jie of the Tianyu demonic sect stepped forward and looked at Lu Ming with cold eyes. "I can also testify. I personally saw him enter the core of Emperor Song's bedroom." Another leading genius of the sect walked out. "In that case, hand over the inheritance of the great emperor." The eyes of the sage realm expert of the Tianshan sect flickered as he stared at Lu Ming. He took a step forward and was about to approach Lu Ming. Boom! On the side of Dragon God Valley, Elder Hong took a step forward and stood in front of Lu Ming. Like a tall mountain, he blocked the aura of the sage of the Tianshan sect. What's wrong? If you want to protect him, how can Dragon God Valley monopolize the inheritance of the great emperor? The sage realm expert of the Heavenly God sect spoke. The other sects also sent their Saint Realm experts over. I didn't obtain Emperor Tsong's inheritance. At this moment, Lu Ming opened his mouth and his voice spread throughout the entire venue. You didn't get it? The eyes of all the Saint Realm experts narrowed. Nonsense. Many of us saw you enter the core of Emperor Tsong's palace. You still want to deny it? Shi Tian shouted. I can also vouch for this. Junior brother Lu Ming has indeed entered the core of Emperor Tsong's bedroom. A cold voice came from the Dragon God Valley. It was you. Chapter 1447. 1447. The despicable Yin Feng Lu Ming's eyes were like lightning as he looked at Hiyu. This person was really despicable. They were from the same sect, but he kept trying to kill Lu Ming by selling him out. Beside Hiyu, Yin Feng sneered. He, even the Dragon God Valley disciple has spoken. It seems to be true. The sage realm expert of the Heavenly God sect sneered, and his aura became stronger. I've already said that I didn't obtain Emperor Tsong's inheritance. Lu Ming spoke again, his gaze sweeping across Shi Tian, Emojie, Hiyu, and the others. Speaking of which, Lu Ming was the one who saved them this time. If not for Lu Ming, these people would have been killed by Shakyamuni annihilating soul after entering the core of Emperor Tsong's bedchamber. His flesh and blood would have been refined and everyone would have died. But now, these people wanted to kill Lu Ming. Lu Ming would remember these people one by one. There would be a time to settle this score in the future. Words are not proof, we want to test it. The sage realm expert of the Heavenly God sect coldly spoke. If you want to test it, then test it. The Tianshan sect is so overbearing. Do you think my Dragon God Valley sect will be afraid? Elder Hong was very powerful. His aura was violent, like a true dragon. The confrontation between the two Saint Stage powerhouses made many young men's faces turn pale. It was as if a mountain was pressing on their hearts, and they felt so uncomfortable that they wanted to vomit blood. Lu Ming was better off. He had seen the terrifying auras of the two great emperors. Although the auras of the sages were strong, they could not move his heart. Lu Ming, did you really enter Emperor Tsong's bedchamber? Elder Hong asked Lu Ming. Everyone's eyes were on Lu Ming, waiting to see how he would answer. That's right, I entered the core of Emperor Tsong's bedroom. Lu Ming nodded. It seems that others didn't slander you. You've admitted it yourself. The sage expert of the Heavenly God sect said. Entering the core of Emperor Tsong's bedchamber might not necessarily mean that you have obtained the legacy. Lu Ming, what did you see in the core of Emperor Tsong's bedchamber? What did you do? Elder Hong asked again. I saw Emperor Tsong. Lu Ming said. His words were like a sudden clap of thunder, exploding in everyone's mind. Everyone looked at Lu Ming in shock. Lu Ming had met Emperor Tsong? Could it be that Emperor Tsong was not dead? Is Emperor Tsong still alive? The sage of the Tianshan sect asked, his voice a little hoarse. Yes, Emperor Tsong is still alive. Lu Ming nodded. Hisses. Gasps of shock could be heard. He didn't expect that Emperor Tsong was still alive. The world of the Azure continent was going to undergo a huge change. If Emperor Tsong is alive, why hasn't there been any trace of him for 60,000 years? Someone asked. That's right. Lu Ming, speak clearly. What did you see? What did you get? Someone asked. The reason why Emperor Tsong has disappeared for 60,000 years is because he was severely injured. Furthermore, he has been confronting a great enemy for 60,000 years. At that moment, Lu Ming did not hide anything and told him what he saw in full detail. However, he had made a slight change. In fact, Shakyamuni annihilating soul had the upper hand. However, Lu Ming said that Emperor Tsong and Shakyamuni annihilating soul were equal. After confronting each other for 60,000 years, Emperor Tsong finally gained the upper hand with the help of his Thunder Cauldron. He wanted to suppress Shakyamuni annihilating soul. Shakyamuni soul. It's actually Shakyamuni soul. Shakyamuni annihilating soul is still alive? The Saint Realm powerhouses present seem to have heard of Shakyamuni annihilating soul before. While they were shocked, their expressions were extremely grave. I see. Many people who had never heard of Shakyamuni annihilating soul were shocked. They finally knew why Emperor Tsong suddenly disappeared 60,000 years ago. It was because he had encountered a great enemy. Many of the young men who had entered the secret realm were even more moved. They recalled the many skeletons they had seen in the great emperor's secret realm. Clearly, they were all killed by Emperor Tsong's enemies. Emperor Tsong borrowed my holy weapon, the Thunder Cauldron, and brought Shakyamuni annihilating soul into the infinite void. He said that he would return the Thunder Cauldron to thank me for my help after he had completely suppressed Shakyamuni annihilating soul. In the end, Lu Ming said this. The meaning of his words was very simple. Emperor Tsong was still alive and he did not receive Emperor Tsong's inheritance. Furthermore, he was Emperor Tsong's benefactor. After Emperor Tsong suppressed the enemy, he would return to find him. He was using Emperor Tsong's name to intimidate the experts from the other sections. If they touched Lu Ming now, they would have to face Emperor Tsong when he returned. Hee little fellow, there's no need to use Emperor Tsong to threaten us. The sage realm expert of the Tianshan sect sneered. They naturally did not believe Lu Ming's words. However, there was one thing that they could be sure of. Emperor Tsong was still alive. Previously, they had seen Emperor Tsong's chamber breaking through the void. With their cultivation of the Saint Realm, they could indeed sense a faint trace of the great emperor's aura. Now, after hearing Lu Ming's explanation, they were convinced that Emperor Tsong was in the chamber. Since Emperor Tsong was not dead, it was impossible for Lu Ming to obtain Emperor Tsong's legacy. How could a living great emperor pass down his legacy? If they wanted someone else to inherit his legacy, they could just take him in as a disciple. Since Lu Ming did not receive the legacy of Emperor Tsong, there was no point in taking him down. On the contrary, it was not worth it to offend Dragon God Valley. The few sages looked at each other and shook their heads. Let's go. Since Emperor Tsong is not dead, we should make plans. Go back and report to the sect master. Some of the saints spoke one after another before leaving with the young men from their sections. The sage of the Tianshan sect snorted coldly. His eyes flickered a few times, but he did not continue to pursue Lu Ming. He turned around and left. Senior brother Hiyu, I heard that Lu Ming killed Wu Sandu of the Yudu sect in the Emperor's chamber. It seems that another peerless genius is going to appear in Dragon God Valley. At this moment, a voice was heard from the Dragon God Valley. The voice was very loud and spread far. Feng. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with murderous intent. Feng was deliberately trying to harm him. Wu Sandu was the green-robed young man who was killed by Lu Ming in Emperor Tsong's bedroom. As expected, the Saint Stage powerhouse from the Desire Poison sect stopped in his tracks and turned around to look at Lu Ming. His body was filled with cold killing intent. Kid, so it turns out that Wu Sandu died by your hands? The saint from the Yudu sect said coldly. A layer of poisonous mist emanated from his body, and his powerful aura pressed down on Lu Ming. Hiyu and Feng sneered in the crowd of Dragon God Valley. Lu Ming had managed to escape from the disaster under such circumstances just now. They could not accept that. Hence, they deliberately announced loudly that Lu Ming had killed Wu Sandu. So what if I killed him? In the great emperor's secret realm, we were competing with each other. He wanted to kill me first, so how could I not kill him? Lu Ming said loudly. Then he'll kill you and take revenge for him. The Desire Poison sect's elder shouted loudly and stepped out. Poisonous gas filled the air. Wu Sandu was the leader of the Desire Poison sect who had entered the great emperor's secret realm this time. He was very talented and would definitely be a top-notch genius in the Desire Poison sect when he grew up in the future. However, he had been killed by Lu Ming. Chapter 1448, 1448 The Seven Dragon Valleys Roar. A dragon roar shook the 9 heavens. Elder Hong seemed to have transformed into a violent dragon. his eyes were filled with ferocity and his long hair danced in the wind as he stared at the saint from the Yudu sect. The great emperor's secret realm doesn't prohibit killing. When you see a treasure, you'll naturally fight for it. Your Desire Poison sect is skilled in using poison, and I reckon that every sect here has people who died at your hands. Should we also seek your Desire Poison sect for revenge? If the juniors fight and die in battle, they can only blame their incompetence. You, as an elder, want to deal with a junior. Do you have any face? Elder Hong's voice was like a great bell. You, the saint stage expert from the Yudu sect, had an ugly expression on his face. However, it was also true that the younger generation of disciples would fight each other and die in battle. They could only be said to be incompetent. If the elders, especially the experts of the saint realm, interfered because of this, it would be a mess. If you killed my junior disciples and I killed your junior disciples, then these sects would never be able to develop. There are many heaven's favorites in Dragon God Valley. My Yudu sect is not bad either. Let's wait and see. The Yudu sect's saint glared at Lu Ming coldly before he waved his sleeves and strode away. In the blink of an eye, not a single person from the Desire Poison sect was left. Damn it, he still managed to escape this time. In the crowd, Yin Feng gritted his teeth. He's lucky. There are many ways to kill him in Dragon God Valley. He coldly said. Initially, they had wanted to use the Yudu sect's powerhouse to get rid of Lu Ming. They did not expect Elder Hong to be so strong and protect Lu Ming, allowing him to escape. This made them feel a little indignant. Lu Ming turned around and looked at Yu and Yin Feng coldly as if he was looking at two dead men. These two people had tried to kill him time and time again. He must kill these two. Alright, let's go back to Dragon God Valley first, he said. Elder Hong said. Then he took out the warship and everyone boarded it. The warship broke through the sky and flew towards Dragon God Valley. After a few days, they returned to Dragon God Valley. Outside the Dragon God Valley, everyone got out of the warship. Elder Hong led them into the Dragon God Valley. They flew over the outer valley and into the big snow mountain inside. They came to a huge palace. The palace seemed to be made of white jade. In front of the palace was a huge square. Lu Ming and the rest landed on the square. When Lu Ming and the rest arrived, there were already many people gathered around the square. It was obvious that they had heard the news of their return in advance and had come to watch. This time, they were entering the great emperor's secret realm, so it naturally attracted many people because they were all very curious. Alright, you've passed the test of Dragon God Valley. Now, there are two things to do. Elder Hong stood at the top and shouted. The scene quieted down. The first thing is to hand over the treasures and secret manuals you've obtained from the great emperor's secret realm. Of course, these are all voluntary. If you think they're useful to you, you can keep them. If you don't have any use for them, you can hand them over to the sect. The sect will compensate you with raw stones or sect contribution points. You can do it. One sect contribution point is equivalent to 100 mid-grade raw gemstones. Sect contribution points can be exchanged for any other treasures in the sect's Treasure Dragon Hall. As long as it's available in Dragon God Valley, you can exchange for it. Elder Hong announced loudly. Sect contribution points can be exchanged for any treasure? Lu Ming's eyes lit up and he was somewhat tempted. The Dragon God combat body that he cultivated was a low-grade earthly spiritual body, but it could be upgraded continuously. The treasures needed for the upgrade were related to true dragons. The dragon bone, blood, and marrow of a true dragon could all enhance Lu Ming's Dragon God combat body. Of course, such a treasure of the true dragon could only be obtained by a true dragon who was above the martial emperor realm. Such a treasure was hard to come by in the outside world. However, in Dragon God Valley, all the warriors had awakened the bloodline of the true dragon and the bloodline of the living flood dragon. There should be treasures of the true dragon. As long as he had it, he could use his contribution points to exchange for it. Lu Ming had already started to think about what treasures he should hand over later. The second thing is to join Dragon God Valley and become an official disciple. However, Dragon God Valley is divided into 7 valleys, namely Ice Dragon Valley, Silver Dragon Valley, Blood Dragon Valley, Red Dragon Valley, Purple Dragon Valley, Black Dragon Valley, and Cloud Dragon Valley. Next, I will briefly talk about the characteristics of the 7 Great Dragon Valleys. You can choose from the 7 Great Dragon Valleys. Following that, Elder Hong briefly explained the characteristics of the 7 Great Dragon Valleys. The Ice Dragon Valley was the head of the 7 Dragon Valleys. The master of the Dragon God Valley was also the master of the Ice Dragon Valley. Among the 7 Dragon Valleys, the Ice Dragon Valley was the most powerful. Many people in the Ice Dragon Valley had awakened the Ice Dragon bloodline and cultivated the Ice Dragon combat body. The Blood Dragon Valley was bloodthirsty and good at fighting. They cultivated the Blood Dragon combat body. Cloud Dragon Valley was the weakest among the 7 Dragon Valleys. It also had the least number of people. The entire Cloud Dragon Valley only had about 100 people. There were no rules on which dragon body to cultivate. Any dragon body could join the Cloud Dragon Valley. Cloud Dragon Valley had a special characteristic: it was free. It was as free as the clouds. Freedom, like the rolling clouds, Cloud Dragon Valley. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He found it interesting. Alright, let's start handing over the treasures. Elder Hong announced loudly. There was a huge counter at the top of the square, and a few white-haired old men were in charge of inspecting the treasures and recording their information. On the side, many people looked on curiously to see what kind of treasures they would get in the Great Emperor's secret realm. "I'll go first." A brawny young man walked up and took out a few spiritual herbs and a spiritual weapon. That spiritual weapon was an Emperor's spiritual weapon. Not bad. An Emperor's spiritual weapon is worth 1,000,000 medium-grade raw gemstones or 10,000 sect contribution points. Do you need sect contribution points or raw gemstones? A white-haired old man asked. I need sect contribution points. The robust young man said. Alright, I'll register you first. When you join a Dragon Valley, I'll give you an identity token and give it to you. The white-haired old man said. The burly young man nodded and registered his information. Alright, next. The white-haired old man said. Following that, another young man stepped forward and handed over treasures he didn't need. Of course, some had more people, some had less, and there were all kinds of people. No matter if it was spirit herbs, blacksmithing materials, cultivation technique manuals, spirit weapons, or combat weapons, they could all be handed over. A few white-haired elders would appraise the price and compensate accordingly. Soon, over 1,000 people had submitted their saint weapons, but none of them had taken out any. After all, holy weapons were extremely precious and rare. Even in the Great Emperor's secret realm, not many people had obtained it. Moreover, even if they obtained it, most people would not be willing to take it out. I'll go. Lu Ming smiled and stepped forward to the counter. With a wave of his hand, a pile of spirit weapons appeared on the counter with a clang, emitting all kinds of treasure light. Emperor's spiritual weapons, they're all Emperor's spiritual weapons. Why are there so many of them? Someone shouted. Chapter 1449. 1449. The master of Silver Dragon Valley. On the counter was a pile of Emperor's spiritual weapons. There were at least 10 of them. The few white-haired elders were also slightly stunned. Lu Ming's expression was calm. He had killed many enemies in the Great Emperor's secret realm. These people were all geniuses and many of them had an Emperor's spiritual weapon. Lu Ming had many of them. The ones he had taken out were all useless to him. There were hammer-type, axe-type, and ring-type Emperor's spiritual weapons. These spirit weapons were equivalent to scrap metal in Lu Ming's hands. He might as well hand them over to the sect in exchange for useful resources. A total of 15 Emperor's spiritual weapons, worth 15 million medium-grade raw stones. Do you want to exchange them for raw stones or sect contribution points? The white-haired old man asked. Exchange it for sect contribution points. Lu Ming said. There were quite a number of intermediate-grade rough stones in the storage rings of the enemies he had killed. It was enough for Lu Ming to use for a period of time. If they were exchanged for sect contribution points, they could be used to exchange for other treasures. Alright, well, register it. Do you have any other treasures to hand over? The white-haired old man asked again. There are. Lu Ming nodded and his palm glowed. This time, two weapons appeared. One of them was a combat sword. As soon as the combat sword was drawn, there was a shocking sword chi that broke through the clouds. The other item was a small knife the size of a palm. It was surrounded by a green mist and gave off a disgusting smell. Two saint weapons! Someone exclaimed. Everyone's eyes fell on the two saint weapons. Some people's gazes were burning. It's actually a holy weapon. It seems that the harvest in the great emperor's secret realm is really rich. Who is this person? He should be from another continent, but to be able to obtain two saint weapons, what a great opportunity. Many people discussed animatedly and were extremely envious. The great emperor's secret realm was something that could only be encountered by chance. Unfortunately, only those below the cultivation of a martial emperor could enter, and most people had surpassed this realm. The white-haired elder's eyes also lit up. This was the first time someone had handed over a saint weapon. These two are bright saint weapons. They're 100 times more valuable than king's spiritual weapons. Would you like to exchange them for contribution points or mid-grade origin stones? The white-haired elder asked as he took the two saint weapons and examined them. I'll exchange them all for contribution points. Lu Ming said. All right, 2 bright saint weapons and 15 emperor spirit weapons. That's a total of 2,150,000 contribution points. Is there anything else you want to hand over? The white-haired elder looked at Lu Ming with some hope. No more. Lu Ming shook his head. Over 2 million contribution points should be enough to use for a while. That can't be right, Lu Ming. The treasures you've obtained should be more than this, right? At this time, a cold voice sounded. Without looking, Lu Ming could tell that it was Yin Feng's voice. Lu Ming cast a cold glance at Yin Feng and said, I don't have anything else to hand over. No more? Who are you trying to fool? Where's that wing-shaped holy weapon of yours? What about the other treasures? You should have gained a lot. Why don't you take it out and hand it over to the sect? Yin Feng sneered. I do have other treasures, but I can use them. Elder Hong also said that I can keep those that I can use. If you have a treasure that you can use, will you hand it over? Lu Ming asked with a cold smile. Of course I will. I'm doing this for the sect. Yin Feng said. Oh, I forgot. A piece of trash like you won't be able to get any treasures. Naturally, you're willing to hand them over. Lu Ming said in disdain. Who are you calling trash? Yin Feng was furious. Are you not? Do you want to have a fight with me to prove that you're not a waste? Lu Ming said. Yin Feng was at a loss for words. He was well aware of Lu Ming's combat strength. It was extremely terrifying. If they were to fight, he would only be crushed by Lu Ming. You don't even dare to fight, what are you if not trash? Lu Ming said in disdain. Yin Feng's body trembled with anger, but he couldn't refute. Lu Ming, I remember that you obtained a saint breakthrough pill. You have no use for it now. Why don't you hand it over? At this moment He Yu, who was standing beside Yin Feng, spoke coldly and his voice resounded throughout the entire place. What? A saint breakthrough pill? At this moment, the entire place fell silent. Countless eyes were fixed on Lu Ming. Many people revealed a burning glow. The saint breakthrough pill. Lu Ming had actually obtained a saint breakthrough pill. And NBSP hoo-hoo. Some people's breathing even became heavy. There were many people surrounding the square. Many of them were at the peak of the martial emperor realm, but they were stuck there, unable to break through. Some people were even at the end of their lifespans. The temptation of the saint breakthrough pill was too great for them. If it weren't for the fact that they were in Dragon God Valley, where there were sages, some people would have already started fighting. Lu Ming furrowed his brows. His move was extremely sinister. If he did not hand over the saint breakthrough pill, there would be countless pairs of eyes staring at him in the Dragon God Valley. In the future, unless Lu Ming did not leave the Dragon God Valley, who knew if someone would secretly attack him? This move was ruthless enough. Lu Ming, since you have the saint breakthrough pill, why don't you hand it over and make a contribution to the sect? You have no use for such a treasure now. Besides, you might die at any time. Such a treasure is a waste. Yin Feng shouted. Lu Ming's eyes gleamed. He could not be bothered with Yin Feng and Hiyu. He bowed to the few white-haired elders and said, "Senior, I have nothing else to hand in. Can I register?" "Sure, please register," the white-haired old man said. Lu Ming nodded and was about to register. "Hold on." At this moment, a voice came from afar. Then, an old man in silver robes suddenly appeared in the sky. When Elder Hong and the other white-haired old men saw the silver-robed old man, their expressions changed. They stood up and bowed, saying, "Master of Silver Dragon Valley." Many people around the square also saluted. "What? The Master of Silver Dragon Valley? The Master of the Silver Dragon Valley, one of the 7 great valleys?" In the middle of the square, the young men who had not yet officially become disciples of Dragon God Valley were all shocked. The 7 great Dragon Valley masters were all important figures who stood at the peak of Dragon God Valley. Even in the vast Azure region, they were top figures. Now, the master of the Silver Dragon Valley, one of the 7 great Dragon Valley masters, had actually come in person. "Grandpa, Master." Seeing the master of Silver Dragon Valley, Yin Feng cried out in surprise, which made many people gasp. Yin Feng's grandfather was the master of Silver Dragon Valley. Lu Ming furrowed his brows. Yin Feng's background was beyond his imagination. The master of Silver Dragon Valley descended and nodded. "What happened just now? It's him. That brat from the Savage Island obtained a treasure in the Great Emperor's secret realm and wants to pocket it. He has no use for a treasure like the Saint Breakthrough Pill now." Yin Feng pointed at Lu Ming and shouted. Chapter 1450 Chapter 1450 Another Valley Master. Furthermore, this person is the only one who has entered the core of Emperor Tsong's bedroom. I suspect that he has obtained Emperor Tsong's treasures or inheritance. At the side, Hiyu added fuel to the fire. "What? Emperor Tsong's inheritance?" These words were like a heavy bomb, causing the scene to explode. Countless people looked at Lu Ming in shock. Even the master of Silver Dragon Valley had a burning light in his eyes. If the Saint Breakthrough Pill only tempted many experts at the peak of the martial royal realm, then Emperor Tsong's treasures and inheritance would tempt even the master of Silver Dragon Valley. I've already said that I didn't receive Emperor Tsong's inheritance. This point has been proven several days ago in front of the experts from the various sections. Elder Hong is here to prove my words. Lu Ming said. That's right, Lu Ming did not receive Emperor Tsong's legacy. Elder Hong said. The inheritance of Emperor Tsong is of great importance. I suggest that Lu Ming hand over everything for us to check. We will also search his soul. This way we will be absolutely safe. Yin Feng said loudly as his eyes flashed with ruthlessness. Haha. At this moment, Lu Ming threw his head back and laughed. I've already said that I didn't get the inheritance. Elder Hong has also proven it. Moreover, it's also stated in advance that those who enter the Great Emperor's secret realm are free to hand over any treasures they obtain. Now you're forcing me like this. Is this how Dragon God Valley treats its disciples? It's really chilling. Impudent. The master of Silver Dragon Valley shouted and his eyes turned cold. You're just a little reserved disciple. How dare you talk about Dragon God Valley? You're so audacious. Fenger is right. I'm going to search your soul to confirm. The master of Silver Dragon Valley took a step forward and locked onto Lu Ming. Lu Ming realized that he could not move at all, as if he had been fixed in place. Yin Jing, you're already so old, and you're the master of a valley. Don't you find it embarrassing to treat a junior like this? At this moment, a gentle voice rang out between heaven and earth. Lu Ming suddenly felt his body relax and he regained his freedom. Many people were shocked. Who dared to speak to the master of Silver Dragon Valley in such a way? And NBSP, the master of Silver Dragon Valley, frowned as he looked at the sky. In the sky, two figures stepped through the air. An old man with a gentle smile on his face followed by a middle-aged man. Senior Longyuan Mountain. Lu Ming's heart stirred. The middle-aged man behind the old man was Longyuan Mountain. Greetings, Cloud Dragon Valley Master. Many people saluted the old man when they saw him. Cloud Dragon Valley Master. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Another Valley Master had arrived. The Master of Silver Dragon Valley stared at the Master of Cloud Dragon Valley and said, "What's wrong? Are you trying to meddle in my business? What do you mean by being a busybody?" This little guy was right. How could the Dragon God Valley treat their disciples like this? To be honest, not to mention the fact that this little guy didn't get Emperor Song's inheritance, even if he did, it's up to him whether he wants to hand it over or not. My Dragon God Valley only needs to ensure his growth. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said indifferently. What if I forcibly soul scour you? The Master of Silver Dragon Valley said. You can try. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master's eyes flashed as a mysterious aura emanated from his body. The Master of Silver Dragon Valley looked at the Master of Cloud Dragon Valley with a serious expression. After a while, he turned to Elder Hong and asked, Elder Hong, are you sure that this brat did not obtain Emperor Song's inheritance? It's impossible for him to obtain it, because Emperor Song is still alive. Elder Hong said. What? The Master of Silver Dragon Valley was shocked. Not only him, everyone present was shocked. Emperor Song was not dead. These 4 words were too shocking and could explain everything. After a while, the scene slowly quieted down. Let's continue. The Master of Silver Dragon Valley waved his hand and sat down on a chair. You guys continue. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master also sat down. Little guy, please register. The white-haired elder said to Lu Ming. Lu Ming nodded. He registered his information and walked off the stage. Then, one by one, they went up and handed over their treasures. Just like that, 2 days and 2 nights passed before the treasure submission segment finally came to an end. Next up was the second option, which was to join one of the 7 great dragon valleys. An elder came from each dragon valley and set up a counter in the square. Here, each elder represents a dragon valley. If you want to join any dragon valley, you can come forward and register. Elder Hong pointed at the 7 counters and said, each of the 7 counters had a symbol that indicated different dragon valleys. However, the Silver Dragon Valley and the Cloud Dragon Valley were special. The elders of the other dragon valleys had come. Only the valley masters of these 2 dragon valleys had come in person. I'll join Icy Dragon Valley. Someone stepped forward and walked towards Ice Dragon Valley. Let me see your spirit body. The elder of Ice Dragon Valley said. This young man exuded a cold aura and a faint dragon roar could be heard. Yes, it's the Ice Dragon combat body. I can join. The elder of Ice Dragon Valley nodded and registered the young man's information. Senior, I'll join the Purple Dragon Valley. I'll join the Black Dragon Valley. One by one, the young men stepped forward and chose the Dragon Valley they wanted to join. Naturally, Yin Feng joined Silver Dragon Valley. He Yu, on the other hand, had joined the Blood Dragon Valley. Senior, I want to join Cloud Dragon Valley. A young man walked up to the Cloud Dragon Valley Master and said respectfully. Unexpectedly, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master shook his head and said, You're not suitable for Cloud Dragon Valley. Go. This stunned many people. Cloud Dragon Valley wouldn't accept them. As long as the spirit body was suitable, the other dragon valleys would accept it. It was because these young men's talents had been tested long ago. They were all very good and were fully qualified to join Dragon God Valley. However, Cloud Dragon Valley did not accept them. You don't know this, do you? Cloud Dragon Valley only has 100 people. They're the weakest among the 7 dragon valleys, so naturally, the number of people who join is the least. There's one more thing. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master is very strange when it comes to accepting people. He doesn't accept ordinary people at all. He only accepts people according to his mood. A local disciple explained. Accept people according to your mood? Many people were speechless. As expected, a few more people wanted to join Cloud Dragon Valley, but they were all rejected by the Valley Master. Lu Ming, which Dragon Valley do you want to join? Showing it. I don't know yet. Lu Ming shook his head. He had not thought about it yet. His spiritual body was the Dragon God combat body. To be honest, he could join any Dragon Valley. Moreover, his domain was the Chaos Domain, so he could join any Dragon Valley without any problem. However, he had already ruled out the Silver Dragon Valley and the Blood Dragon Valley, so he would not join them. The rest of the Dragon Valley would do. You don't know? Lu Ming, I'll go and register first. I'll join Icy Dragon Valley. Zhou said, Go. Lu Ming smiled. Chapter 1451. 1451 Lu Ming's apprenticeship. Qiu Ying and Qiu Hao had similar physiques, so they had both joined Ice Dragon Valley. As for the three Ruan brothers, they had all joined the Crimson Dragon Valley. The people at the scene all joined the Seven Dragon Valley. This time, more than 20,000 people had entered the Great Emperor's secret realm, but only about 12,000 people had come out. More than half of them would remain in the Great Emperor's secret realm forever. 12,000 people. So far, apart from the Cloud Dragon Valley, each of the other 6 Dragon Valleys had more than 1,000 people joining. Only the Cloud Dragon Valley had no one. Many people looked at each other. The Cloud Dragon Valley was really a wonder. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master had come personally, but he had not accepted a single disciple. At this moment, Lu Ming stepped forward and walked towards the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. This kid wants to join Cloud Dragon Valley. Yin Feng's eyes flashed. Cloud Dragon Valley was the last place he wanted Lu Ming to join. Given his status, he had connections in the other 6 Dragon Valleys. If Lu Ming were to join him, he would have 100 ways to kill him. However, if Lu Ming were to join Cloud Dragon Valley, it would be difficult. Cloud Dragon Valley Master, that old fellow, has always taken in disciples based on his mood. I hope he doesn't take Lu Ming in as a disciple. Yin Feng thought to himself. Many people around the square were also looking at Lu Ming. Lu Ming had a treasure like the Saint Breakthrough Pill on him. Naturally, he would attract a lot of attention. Senior, I'm Lu Ming. I want to join Cloud Dragon Valley. Lu Ming walked in front of the Cloud Dragon Valley Master and bowed. Joining Cloud Dragon Valley was Lu Ming's final decision. First of all, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master's motto was to be free and unrestrained, like the clouds moving and relaxing. Lu Ming liked this very much. Also, Longyuan Mountain was also in Cloud Dragon Valley. Longyuan Mountain was a good person and Lu Ming had a good impression of them. Moreover, Longyuan Mountain and Cloud Dragon Valley Master had helped Lu Ming one after another. That was why he chose to join Cloud Dragon Valley. As for the fact that Cloud Dragon Valley was the weakest, he didn't even consider it. He had come to the Yuan continent to cultivate. As long as there was a stable environment for cultivation, it would be fine. Do you really want to join Cloud Dragon Valley? Have you considered this carefully? The Cloud Dragon Valley Master smiled slightly. Unlike the others, he did not directly refuse. This made many people's hearts skip a beat. Was the Cloud Dragon Valley Master going to take Lu Ming in? This junior has considered it carefully. Lu Ming said firmly. All right, welcome to Cloud Dragon Valley. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master smiled and agreed. Many thanks, Senior. Lu Ming bowed to the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. Little guy, you're Lu Ming, right? Are you willing to take me as your master and become my 9th true disciple? The Cloud Dragon Valley Master spoke again. Everyone was shocked. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master actually took the initiative to take Lu Ming as a direct disciple? This guy is really lucky. Yin Feng gritted his teeth. If Lu Ming became the Cloud Dragon Valley Master's direct disciple, it would be even more troublesome for him to deal with Lu Ming. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master was famous for being protective of his own. His strength was so terrifying that even his grandfather, the Silver Dragon Valley Master, was afraid of him. At the scene, the other young men looked at Lu Ming with envy. To be accepted as a disciple by a Valley Master, what kind of glory and opportunity was this? Even though Cloud Dragon Valley was the weakest of the 7 Dragon Valleys, it was still the Valley Master with an unfathomable cultivation. Lu Ming himself was also stunned. He had not expected that the Cloud Dragon Valley Master would take him in as a personal disciple. Little guy, what do you think? If you're not willing, this old master won't force you. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said gently. Disciple Lu Ming greets Master. After pondering for a while, Lu Ming bowed. He had just arrived in the Yuan continent and he needed a backer. This would be of great help to his future cultivation. Good, huh? Seeing that Lu Ming had agreed, the Cloud Dragon Valley master laughed. I don't know what kind of luck this guy has to be accepted as a disciple by the Cloud Dragon Valley master. He's just a lowly ant from a savage island. I don't know what the Cloud Dragon Valley master sees in him. Some of the local young men were so envious that their eyes turned red, and they let out disdainful voices. If your talent isn't good enough, it's useless even if you acknowledge a good master. You'll still be trampled under the feet of others in the future. Someone said sourly. Some people were unhappy, while others were happy. Qiu Yingying, Qiu Hao, and the Ruan brothers were truly happy for Lu Ming. All right, I'm done. At that moment, the Cloud Dragon Valley master stood up and scanned the crowd. This disciple of mine might have some treasures on him after entering the great emperor's secret realm. That's his chance. I don't care if it's a competition between peers, but if there's an old man who dares to have designs on him, don't blame me for being bad-tempered. The Cloud Dragon Valley master had always been gentle, but at that moment, a cold aura filled the air. The entire square was filled with a terrifying aura. Some of the peak martial emperors felt as if there was a huge stone in their chests, making it difficult for them to breathe. Saint Breakthrough Pill, forget it. Many people laughed bitterly in their hearts. Before this, many people had coveted Lu Ming's Saint Breakthrough Pill. However, the Valley Master of Cloud Dragon Valley was famous for being protective of his own people. Furthermore, his strength was shocking. Those who coveted the Saint Breakthrough Pill had put away their thoughts. Compared to the Saint Breakthrough Pill, his own life was more important. Ha Lu Ming, no, 9th junior brother, congratulations. We're going to be senior and junior brothers from now on. Long Yuan Mountain laughed. Greetings, senior brother. Lu Ming saluted Long Yuan Shan. I'm Master's second disciple, you can just call me second senior brother. Long Yuan Mountain laughed. Alright, let's go back to Cloud Dragon Valley. After Cloud Dragon Valley Master finished speaking, he stepped into the air and left. The recruitment of disciples was not over yet. However, after the Cloud Dragon Valley Master had taken in Lu Ming as a legacy disciple, he clearly did not want to take in any more disciples and left immediately. 9th junior brother, let's go to Cloud Dragon Valley. Long Yuan Shan grinned. He was extremely forthright. Then he followed the Cloud Dragon Valley Master and left in the air. Lu Ming followed closely behind. The direction they were walking in wasn't the outer valley, but the great snow mountain in the depths. As he walked in the air, the snow fluttered in the air. In front of him, there were many huge snow mountains rising from the ground. It was impossible to forget their ends. It snows all year round in Dragon God Valley. It's amazing. Legend has it that there's a terrifying ice dragon sleeping in the depths of the great snow mountain, which caused such a phenomenon. That terrifying ice dragon is the divine beast of Dragon God Valley. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat as he recalled a legend. Below him, he could see many snowy mountains. Suddenly, a huge glacier valley appeared in front of them. This canyon was very strange. There were clouds in the sky, and snowflakes were falling from the clouds, making the entire canyon look like a snow paradise. Yuan Shan, take Ming-Er and choose a cave to stay in. Ming-Er must be tired after entering the great emperor's secret realm. Let's rest first. Cloud Dragon Valley Master ordered Long Yuan Mountain before flying into the depths of the Glacier Valley and disappearing without a trace. Chapter 1452 What a scam. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master was carefree and left as he pleased. In the blink of an eye, he had disappeared without a trace. This made Lu Ming speechless. 9th junior brother, Master is always like this. He has a casual personality, but he is extremely good to his disciples. Long Yuanchuan smiled at Lu Ming and explained. Second senior brother, I heard that our Cloud Dragon Valley only has 100 disciples. Is that true? Lu Ming asked curiously. That's right. Cloud Dragon Valley, including Master, has a total of more than 120 people. The other valleys have disciples, deacons, and elders. But in our Cloud Dragon Valley, there are no elders. The only senior figure is Master and his 9 core disciples. The rest are all ordinary disciples. Long Yuanchuan said. No elders? Master is the only one of the older generation? Lu Ming was even more curious. Yes, because in the past, Dragon God Valley only had 6 valleys, and each of them had a long history. There was no Cloud Dragon Valley. Cloud Dragon Valley was founded by Master. Longyuan Mountain said. It was founded by my master. Lu Ming was shocked. He was very curious about this cheap master that he had just acknowledged. Lu Ming knew how difficult it was to create a valley in a big sect like Dragon God Valley. It was equivalent to being independent. He was afraid that countless people would object. However, the Valley Master of Cloud Dragon Valley was able to do it. It was definitely not simple. 9th junior brother, let's go. I'll take you to your place, he said. Longyuan Mountain said before stepping forward. Lu Ming followed. The Cloud Dragon Valley was huge and wide, but there were only 100 people inside. It was obvious how few people there were. After flying for a long time, they only met 2 young men. Greetings, senior brother. When the 2 young men saw Longyuan Mountain, they bowed. You're welcome. Let me introduce you to Master's new direct disciple. Longyuan Shan pointed at Lu Ming and introduced. Valley Master's new disciple? The 2 young men looked at Lu Ming curiously, then bowed and said, Greetings, senior brother. Senior brother? Lu Ming was stunned. 9th junior brother, they're just ordinary disciples of Cloud Dragon Valley. They call us core disciples and senior brothers. Longyuan Mountain sent a voice transmission to Lu Ming. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. So that was the case. The 2 of you don't need to be so polite. Lu Ming smiled. You guys can go. Longyuan Shan waved his hand and continued to lead Lu Ming deeper into the canyon. The deeper he went, the thicker the heaven-earth Yuan Qi became. Of Master's 9 disciples, other than you and me, some are in closed-door cultivation, some are cultivating outside, and some are on missions. If there's a chance in the future, I'll introduce them to you one by one. Longyuan Mountain explained the situation of Cloud Dragon Valley as they walked. Soon, they arrived in front of a huge ice cave. The door of this ice cave was tightly shut. Junior brother, this Immortal's cave is yours from now on. There's a formation at the entrance. I'll teach you how to control it. Longyuan Shan took out a jade talisman and passed it to Lu Ming. Thank you, 2nd senior. Lu Ming cupped his fists. 9th junior brother, you should get to know him. I think Master will summon you in a few days. Longyuan Mountain laughed and then left. Lu Ming picked up the jade talisman and scanned it with his spiritual senses. He memorized the method in the jade talisman. There was a simple formation at the entrance that could be controlled with only true essence. Lu Ming took a step forward, his quintessential essence suffused. The door of the ice cave opened with a crack. Lu Ming stepped in. Then he controlled the formation and closed the door. Lu Ming carefully sized up the cave abode. The cave abode was huge. It had an ice bed, an icy table, an ice chair, and everything. Lu Ming took a closer look and realized that something was not right. This was not ordinary ice, but ice jade. It was crystal clear and emitted a slight chill. Cultivating here would help in tempering one's spirit body. In addition, there was more than one bedroom in the ice cave. There were other ice rooms that were connected by passages. Lu Ming walked around and found that there were more than a dozen ice rooms. There was actually spring water flowing out of one of the ice rooms, but it did not freeze. Lu Ming was very satisfied with the cave abode. The origin qi of heaven and earth here was several times denser than that in the outer valley. Let's check our harvest first. Lu Ming sat cross-legged on the ice jade bed. With a wave of his hand, he took out all the storage rings he had obtained this time. On the way back, Lu Ming just casually counted. He sorted out the mid-grade raw gemstones, spiritual herbs, spiritual weapons, and so on. As for the spiritual herbs, Lu Ming kept all of them into the mountain and river diagram for Dandan and Pao Pao to eat. Finally, Lu Ming kept the most valuable items in a storage ring. Lu Ming had gained a lot from this trip to the great emperor's secret realm. Not to mention some spiritual herbs and blacksmithing materials. The divine medicine was a heavenly liquid ancient tree. The heavenly Tao stone, over 200 pieces. Lu Ming took out 2 saint weapons to exchange for contribution points. He had 3 more, the black wings, the shield given to him by Qiu Hao, and a jade bangle for Xian Yanqing. In addition, 3 royal fruits and 1 saint breakthrough pill. Most importantly, Emperor Tsang had given him a storage ring. This was the great emperor's storage ring. The thought of it made Lu Ming's heart race. However, it was a pity that his lightning cauldron was an absolute saint weapon. In Emperor Tsang's bedroom, Emperor Tsang seemed to have suppressed Shakyamuni annihilating soul with the help of the thunder cauldron. However, it was obvious that Shakyamuni annihilating soul had recovered more than Emperor Tsang. The 2 of them entered the depths of the void. The outcome of this battle was still unknown. Perhaps, Emperor Tsang would never appear again. Therefore, Lu Ming's thunder cauldron would most likely not be returned. Fortunately, with Emperor Tsang's storage ring as compensation, Lu Ming felt more at ease. Open it and see what's inside Emperor Tsang's storage ring? Are there any monarch weapons? Emperor pill? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He picked up the storage ring and channeled his essential core into it. Lu Ming was stunned. He could not open it. Continue. He gritted his teeth and continued to increase his true qi, but he still couldn't open it. "I'll continue. Lu Ming gave up after a while. This is a scam. There's Emperor Tsang's seal on this storage ring. With my cultivation level, I can't break this seal at all. Lu Ming wanted to look up and roar. He was so depressed that he almost vomited blood. He couldn't eat the fat meat that was in his mouth. This reminded Lu Ming of the king's storage ring that he had obtained not long after he started cultivating. He could not open it as he was not powerful enough. The situation was similar, but this time, Lu Ming was even more depressed. This was the great emperor's storage ring, which he had exchanged for with the thunder cauldron. Lu Ming was indignant. He tried a few more times but had no choice but to give up. His cultivation wasn't high enough to break through Emperor Tsang's imprint. If he wanted to break through slowly, he had to be in the saint realm. Lu Ming despised Emperor Tsang for a long time. Since he gave him the storage ring, why didn't he rub off the brand on it? Lu Ming had no choice but to keep Emperor Tsang's storage ring. Then, with a flash, black wings appeared on his back. Lu Ming was prepared to refine the black wings again. In the future, Lu Ming would need to refine the black wings more often. This way, the power of the holy weapon could be slowly unleashed. A day later, Lu Ming refined the black wings again and put them away. Then he took out the shield and started to refine it. Chapter 1453, 1453 The peak of the first-level martial emperor realm. Just like that, another 2 days passed. Lu Ming refined the shield and the spiritual god defensive armor at the same time. The shield flew into Lu Ming's glabella and disappeared, floating in his sea of consciousness. As for the spiritual god defensive armor, it entered his dantian and covered the entire body of the spiritual god. The spiritual god was wearing a jade armor. After refining the treasures, Lu Ming took out 3 royal fruits. He planned to refine them to improve his cultivation. A low-level martial royal could increase one's cultivation by 1 level after refining 1 royal fruit. It was extremely precious. However, Lu Ming cultivated the chaos realm and he was not confident. He opened his mouth and swallowed the royal fruit. Then he began to refine it. A day later, when the effects of the royal fruit had been fully refined, Lu Ming shook his head and smiled bitterly. As expected, it was impossible for others to advance 1 level after refining the royal fruit. His cultivation was still at the LV1 martial royal realm. Continue. Then, Lu Ming took out another royal fruit and began to refine it. 2 days passed by in a flash. Lu Ming had refined all 3 royal fruits. However, his cultivation had only reached the peak of the first-level martial royal realm. He had not even broken through to the 2nd level. It's indeed difficult to improve the chaotic domain. 3 royal domain fruits can only help me reach the peak of LV1 martial royal realm. Lu Ming gave a bitter smile. However, it was not bad to be able to reach the peak of the first-level martial emperor realm. Once the opportunity came, Lu Ming could break through to the second-level martial emperor realm at any time. Now that I've reached the martial royal realm, it's time for me to practice a domain martial technique. Lu Ming pondered in his heart. After his trip to the great emperor's secret realm, he realized that his current attack methods were too simple. Most of the time, he relied on the prison's suppressing heavenly art and the primal chaos domain to suppress them. With the help of the prison's suppressing steel's bloodline, the prison's suppressing heavenly art was extremely powerful. At the martial emperor realm, it was enough to unleash a terrifying power. However, it was too one-dimensional for just one technique. As for the chaos sky-turning seal, although it was extremely powerful, it also consumed a great deal of energy. It could be used as a trump card and could not be used normally. Therefore, Lu Ming needed to cultivate an offensive domain martial art technique. As for movement techniques, he didn't need them for the time being. First, although the wind elemental technique was only a martial technique of creation, it was enough for the time being with the help of the air-frozen bead and the black wings. Secondly, although the 9 Dragons Heaven-Treading Steps was not a domain-level martial art technique, Lu Ming's power was still shocking after he had cultivated the 9th step. It was especially so when it was combined with the Dragon God combat body. Its power could be further enhanced. Thus, he didn't need to cultivate movement techniques for the time being. It was mainly an attack-type skill. Moreover, Lu Ming wanted to cultivate a skill that could unleash the power of a spirit weapon or even a holy weapon. When Lu Ming used the prison destructive divine art, he would usually use his physical body to fight his opponent. Even if he had an emperor's spiritual weapon or a holy weapon, it would be useless. For example, if his opponent was a swordsman who was holding a holy weapon and fighting him, he would be at a disadvantage if his opponent had the power of a holy weapon while he did not. Which domain martial skill should I practice? Lu Ming was deep in thought. The 9 Dragons' memory fragments contained many domain martial techniques. Apart from some very special domains that could not be transformed, the primal chaos domain could be transformed into any other domain. For example, the domain of spear, the domain of sword. Therefore, Lu Ming could cultivate all these types of domain-level martial arts techniques. 13 charged attacks. After a long while, Lu Ming chose a martial arts technique. Storing power 13 strikes was a spear art. When Lu Ming's cultivation level was still low, he had always been using a spear. Therefore, he still had a special liking for spears. However, after his cultivation level increased, he did not have a suitable execution. Moreover, the prison suppressing heaven technique was very powerful. Therefore, Lu Ming gradually stopped using the execution. Moreover, Lu Ming was quite satisfied with the power of the 13 accumulated strikes. 13 charged attacks. With the spear domain as the foundation, using the spear, the attacks were like a storm, one after another. When trained to the highest level, the spear could unleash 13 bursts of power in a row, and its destructive power was shocking. Buzz. The next moment, a long spear appeared in Lu Ming's hands. The Infinite Dragon Spear. Buzz. The Infinite Dragon Spear shook and let out a loud buzzing sound. Lu Ming shook his head and sighed. No way. Infinite Dragon Spear. My level is not high enough. Although he had refined the Infinite Dragon Spear in the past and made it a 9th-level spiritual weapon, given Lu Ming's current cultivation, an ordinary 9th-level spiritual weapon would not be able to unleash Lu Ming's power. On the contrary, it would shatter due to the excessive force. I'll wait for my second body to fully recover and then slowly refine and improve it. Lu Ming thought to himself and put away the Infinite Dragon Spear. Then, another spear appeared in his hands. This was an Emperor's spiritual weapon that Lu Ming had obtained in the Emperor's secret realm. Buzz. The long spear shook and buzzed. Lu Ming was very satisfied. If I have the chance, I must get a Saint Weapon Spear and a pair of Saint Weapon Gloves. Lu Ming thought to himself. With the Saint Weapon Grade gloves, he wouldn't be at a disadvantage when using the prison's suppressing heavenly art against his enemies. Immediately, Lu Ming carefully comprehended the profoundness of the 13 charged strikes. However, Lu Ming soon received a voice transmission from Longyuan Mountain. Longyuan Mountain was looking for him. When he opened the door, he saw Longyuan Mountain standing outside the door. "Ninth junior brother, Master is looking for you," Longyuan Mountain said. Lu Ming nodded. He had been in seclusion for 7 days. It was time for the Cloud Dragon Valley Master to look for him. Lu Ming followed Longyuan Mountain and walked towards the depths of Cloud Dragon Valley. Not long after, they arrived at the end of Cloud Dragon Valley. There was a cave residence there. After entering the cave residence, they saw the Cloud Dragon Valley Master sitting cross-legged on an ice platform. "Master, ninth junior brother has arrived. I'll take my leave." Longyuan Shan bowed and left. Disciple greets Master. Lu Ming, the Valley Master of Cloud Dragon Valley, bowed. The Valley Master smiled and nodded. He sized Lu Ming up and smiled. "Not bad. Your cultivation has reached the peak of the LV1 Martial Royal Realm. You have a strong foundation and will soon break through to the LV2 Martial Royal Realm." Lu Ming did not make a sound. He just listened quietly. "Ming, show me your domain," the Cloud Dragon Valley Master said. Lu Ming nodded. Without any hesitation, he released his Chaos Domain. There was nothing to hide about the Chaos Domain. Once he encountered a strong enemy, he would use it. Those with good eyesight would naturally be able to recognize it. As expected, the Chaos Domain spread out. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master's eyes widened as he exclaimed, "Chaos Domain!" Clearly, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master was also extremely shocked. After a long while, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master regained his calm and frowned in thought. After more than 10 minutes, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master spoke again. "Ming, I didn't expect you to be so talented that you could actually cultivate the legendary Chaos Domain. The Chaos Realm is a legendary realm, the Emperor of thousands of realms. This is the first time I've seen someone successfully cultivate it, so I'm afraid I have nothing to teach you." Chapter 1454, 1454 8th Senior Sister, Xuaningxin. Lu Ming touched his nose with a bitter smile. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master had said that there was nothing else he could teach Lu Ming in the future. It seemed that he was destined to figure it out on his own. "Ming, you have to be careful. The more powerful the domain is, the more difficult it is to cultivate it. Especially when it comes to breaking through, the difficulty will be greater. The Chaos Domain is even more so. So, in the future, you have to spend more effort on the Chaos Domain." After a moment of silence, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master warned him seriously. Lu Ming nodded. He had already noticed this. "Also, from now on, you're free to enter any place in Cloud Dragon Valley, including my library. There's my cultivation experience in there. You can go and study it. It might be helpful to you," the Cloud Dragon Valley Master said. "Many thanks, Master." Lu Ming was overjoyed and bowed to express his gratitude. He could enter any place in the Cloud Dragon Valley as he wished. He also had the Cloud Dragon Valley Master's cultivation insights. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master's cultivation was unfathomable. Lu Ming estimated that he was definitely not at the Bright Saint Realm. It was very likely that he had surpassed the Bright Saint Realm. The cultivation experience of such an existence was definitely precious. If Lu Ming could comprehend it, it would definitely be of great help to his cultivation. At that moment, a jade token appeared in the hands of the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. "This is your identity token. It contains your information and your contribution points. Take a look and see if it's correct." Lu Ming took the identity token and inserted his essential core. A row of information appeared in his mind. It was all his basic information. In the column of contribution points, the number was 2. 15 million contribution points. These were the contribution points he had exchanged for with the sex treasures. Lu Ming kept the identity token. "Ming, there's one thing you have to take note of. Although I've accepted you as a true disciple and joined the Cloud Dragon Valley, the Cloud Dragon Valley is a part of the Dragon God Valley. Therefore, for the first 2 years, You'll still have to listen to the arrangements of the Dragon God Valley and complete some basic tasks. 2 years later, you won't need to be assigned any tasks by the sect. You can choose on your own. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said. Lu Ming nodded. This was very easy to understand. Lu Ming was not too surprised. It was normal for new disciples to make some contributions to the sect. Also, you've offended the people of Silver Dragon Valley. Those guys are narrow-minded. You must be careful of them during this period. Their elders don't dare to interfere, but I won't interfere with the competition between the young generation. You have to rely on yourself. Finally, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master warned him again. Thank you, Master. I will be careful. Lu Ming said. Go. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master waved his hand. Lu Ming bowed and left the place. I can't waste my 15 million contribution points. Let's go and see if there are any true dragon materials to exchange for them. Lu Ming had many thoughts in his mind. If he had the materials from a true dragon, he would be able to upgrade the Dragon God combat body. Lu Ming flew all the way out, planning to go to the Treasure Dragon Palace to ask. He had not flown far when a figure blocked in front of him. It was a young woman in a snow-white dress. She looked like she was only 18 or 19 years old. She had a lithe figure and was extremely beautiful, like a fairy that had descended from the 9 heavens. Stop! The young woman spread her arms and stood in front of Lu Ming. And you are? Lu Ming stopped and asked. Are you Master's new direct disciple? The young woman blinked her big eyes curiously, staring at Lu Ming and sizing him up. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. From the other party's tone, he should be another legacy disciple of the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. That's right. Master's 9th new disciple, Lu Ming. Lu Ming nodded. It's really you. Quickly call me senior sister. Your 8th senior sister Xuaningxin. Finally not little junior sister. The young woman almost jumped up and laughed out loud in excitement. Lu Ming was rather speechless. It turned out that the other party was his senior sister. But she was so young. In the end, Lu Ming was helpless. He cupped his fists and said, Greetings, 8th senior sister. Yes, okay cough. Xuaningxin was overjoyed, but she still had to put on a mature look. She glanced at Lu Ming, coughed a few times, and said, Little junior brother, in the future, just follow senior sister. Senior sister will guarantee you a good life. As he said that, he even patted himself and continued, Junior brother, I heard that you're quite strong and have shown your power in the great emperor's secret realm. Come, let's have a few moves. Having said that, he looked at Lu Ming in anticipation. A few moves? Lu Ming was speechless. That's right. Sigh, there are too few people in our Cloud Dragon Valley. It's so boring. Those ordinary disciples don't even dare to fight with me. In the past 10 years, Master has only accepted 3 true disciples. The other senior brothers are so old and have profound cultivation. I'm no match for them at all. There's also that massacring maniac. He's out there every day to train and kill. No one has fought with me. Xuaningxin kept on talking. Lu Ming was speechless. He quickly interrupted Xuaningxin and said, Senior sister, I still have something to do. Maybe next time. With that, he was about to leave. Today. Are you looking down on me? Xuaningxin's eyes widened and she threw a punch at Lu Ming. Boom, boom, boom. This punch was shockingly powerful, and the space around it began to rumble. So strong. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He did not dare to be careless. He spread out his chaos domain and threw a punch at Xuaningxin. Thump. The 2 fists collided. Lu Ming's body trembled as he felt a terrifying force surging towards him. His body trembled and he could not help but take 9 steps back before he could stabilize himself. But Xuaningxin did not move. What a terrifying power! Lu Ming gasped in shock. The other's strength was beyond his imagination. The most shocking thing was that he felt that Xuaningxin had used most of her physical strength, not much of her true essence. Just the strength of his body alone was enough to force him back 9 steps. Not bad. You're only at the LV1 Martial Emperor realm, Yet you're only forced to take 9 steps back after receiving my punch. Not bad, not bad. Unfortunately, your cultivation is too low. Xue Ningxin mumbled and sized Lu Ming up curiously. Little junior brother, you have to cultivate well. When your cultivation improves, you can practice with me. Without waiting for Lu Ming to reply, he jogged away. Lu Ming was speechless. This senior sister was too weird. Most importantly, the other party looked young but his strength was shocking. Lu Ming was shocked. It seems that there are countless geniuses in the Yuanlu. Moreover, my cultivation is indeed too low. Lu Ming pondered in his heart. Ninth junior brother, don't mind her. That's just how she is. A hearty laugh came over as Longyuan Mountain stepped through the air. Chapter 1455 Dragon Bone of the Saint Realm, Second Senior. Lu Ming smiled. I don't mind. Besides, 8th Senior Sister's abilities are profound. I'm very impressed. 9th Junior Brother, I have something to tell you. Longyuan Shan smiled mysteriously and said, actually 8th Junior Sister is not human. Inhuman? A demon? Lu Ming's eyes flickered and he muttered. 8th Junior Sister, your true form is a dragon, a true dragon, a pure-blooded true dragon. Longyuan Mountain said. What? A pure-blooded true dragon. Lu Ming was greatly shocked. In the continent group of the Divine Ruins, Lu Ming had never met a pure-blooded divine beast. The one with the highest concentration of blood was only 90% of the divine beast's blood. However, although 90% and pure blood didn't seem to be much different, it was actually a world of difference. Pure-blooded divine beasts were born with an advantage and were extremely powerful. Even the innate spirit body of humans was slightly inferior to the body of pure-blooded divine beasts. This was especially true for terrifying existences like true dragons. It was said that once a true dragon was born, it would have the strength of the spiritual ocean realm. Without cultivating, it would naturally reach the martial emperor realm when it reached adulthood. Once he started cultivating, his achievements would be even higher. Furthermore, after a pure-blooded divine beast entered the emperor realm, its body would undergo another transformation, becoming even more terrifying. Of course, there were also differences in the true dragon's talent. After becoming a martial emperor, there were also differences in the strength of their physiques. Lu Ming felt that Xue Ningxin's physique was definitely not at the level of a low-grade earth spiritual body. It had even surpassed a medium-grade earth spiritual body. It was a true dragon. No wonder it was so powerful. The Yuan continent is indeed the Yuan continent. We have just arrived and we have already met a pure-blooded true dragon. Then, there must be many other pure-blooded divine beasts in the Yuan continent, such as the Qilin and the Phoenix. Lu Ming's heart was filled with infinite expectations. The Yuan continent was bound to be more exciting and brilliant than the continents of the Divine Ruins. The rise of the paragons and the competition between the divine beasts made Lu Ming's blood boil. 9th Junior Brother, where are you going? Longyuan Mountain asked. I'm planning to go to Treasure Dragon Palace to exchange for some useful items. Lu Ming said. Oh, I'm also going to the Treasure Dragon Palace. I'll take you there. Longyuan Mountain laughed. All right. Lu Ming nodded and followed Longyuan Mountain to Treasure Dragon Palace. The Treasure Dragon Palace was located on a huge snow mountain. Disciples of the Dragon God Valley could exchange contribution points for treasures here. Of course, they could also exchange treasures for contribution points. Soon, Lu Ming and Longyuan Mountain arrived at the Treasure Dragon Palace. Outside the Treasure Dragon Palace, there were many people coming and going. Fortunately, the Treasure Dragon Palace was huge enough to accommodate so many people. So many experts. Lu Ming used his spiritual senses to scan the area and found that everyone here was an emperor. As for those below the emperor realm, he did not see a single one. There were many counters around the Treasure Dragon Palace. Junior brother, you can walk around freely. I still have things to do here. Longyuan Mountain said. Senior brother, you can go. Lu Ming nodded. Long Yuanshan nodded and walked towards one of the houses while Lu Ming casually sized it up. After looking around for a while, Lu Ming walked to a counter. A white-haired old man was sitting in front of the counter. "Senior, may I ask if there's any spiritual liquid here?" Lu Ming asked. "Of course there is. There are all kinds of spiritual liquids recorded in this jade talisman. You can choose whatever you want." The old man took out a jade talisman and handed it to Lu Ming. Lu Ming took it and scanned it with his spiritual senses. He realized that there were hundreds of types of spiritual liquid recorded in it. The function and effect of each spiritual liquid were recorded very clearly. Lu Ming looked at them one by one. After a while, he returned the jade card to the old man. "Senior, I need Myriad Spirit Night. How do I exchange for it?" Lu Ming asked. Myriad Spirit Night can promote the growth of spiritual medicine. It's an item that alchemists need. It's extremely precious. One tael is 1,000 contribution points. The old man said. 1,000 contribution points? That's really expensive. Lu Ming muttered in his heart. One contribution point was equivalent to 100 mid-grade raw stones. 1,000 contribution points were equivalent to 100,000 mid-grade raw stones, which was only 50 grams. The price was almost the same as the ultra-quality life potion. However, for the growth of the path understanding ancient tree, everything was worth it. "Senior, I'll exchange for 5 kilograms of Myriad Spirit Liquid." Lu Ming said. "All right, give me your identity token." The old man said. Lu Ming passed the identity token to the old man. The old man took out an array disk and scanned the identity token before returning it to Lu Ming. Lu Ming realized that the contribution points in the identity token had been reduced by 100,000 to 2,050,000. Then, the old man took out a jade bottle and handed it to Lu Ming. The jade bottle was filled with 10,000 spirit liquid, weighing 5 kilograms. Lu Ming kept it, satisfied. "Senior, I wonder if you can exchange for the materials of a true dragon here. You need a true dragon above the martial emperor realm, such as dragon bones, dragon blood, dragon marrow, and so on. They need to be full of spirituality." Lu Ming whispered to the old man. Lu Ming had obtained dragon bones that were not full of spirituality in the divine wilderness continent before. However, the cultivation level of those dragon bones was not very high when they were alive. Furthermore, too much time had passed and most of the spirituality had been lost. Those dragon bones were not of much use to Lu Ming now. "I do have materials of a true dragon that are at the rank of a martial emperor and above, but not many of them. Furthermore, the price is very high." The old man muttered. "Senior, I'm willing to exchange." Lu Ming's eyes lit up. I'll help you ask." The old man took out a jade voice transmission talisman and sent a message. Not long after, the old man received the news. "According to your request, there's a piece of dragon bone that weighs 15 kilograms. After testing, it's suspected that the cultivation of this true dragon was at the Saint Realm when it was alive. It's full of spirituality, but the price is 2 million contribution points. Do you want it?" The old man said. 2 million contribution points? Lu Ming was dumbfounded. A 20-kilogram piece of dragon bone was actually worth 2 million contribution points. This was the price of 2 saint weapons. However, the other party said that this true dragon seemed to have reached the Saint Realm when it was alive. No wonder it was so expensive. "I'm changing." In the end, Lu Ming gritted his teeth. The old man looked at Lu Ming in surprise. Lu Ming's cultivation seemed to be only at the first-level martial emperor realm, but he actually had 2 million contribution points. He was really not simple. "All right, wait a moment." The old man left the counter after he finished speaking. Lu Ming knew that the other party had gone to get the dragon bones. After a while, the elder returned with a storage ring and handed it to Lu Ming. "You can check it first." Lu Ming took the storage ring and scanned it with his spiritual senses. He found a snow-white dragon bone lying quietly in the storage ring, emitting a powerful spiritual essence. One could even vaguely see small dragons swimming on the dragon bones. This was definitely not the dragon bone of an ordinary emperor-level true dragon. It should be the dragon bone left behind by a Saint Realm true dragon. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He passed his identity jade card to the elder. The old man swiped the array disc again and Lu Ming's contribution points became 50,000. Chapter 1456 Spirit Body Evolution. I'll refine it when I get back. I wonder what level this dragon bone can evolve my dragon god combat body to? Lu Ming's heart was burning. After putting away the dragon bones, he did not delay and returned to Cloud Dragon Valley. After entering the cave abode, Lu Ming first watered the path understanding ancient tree with 5 kilograms of myriad spirit liquid. Then, he sat cross-legged and with a thought, the dragon bone appeared in front of Lu Ming. The dragon bone was sparkling and translucent, and a dragon's roar could be faintly heard. It exuded a powerful spiritual essence. All right. Lu Ming's eyes brightened. A powerful devouring force emanated from his body and enveloped the dragon bone. In an instant, wisps of essence from the dragon bone flew toward Lu Ming like tiny true dragons and entered his body. Lu Ming circulated the true war dragon technique, the cultivation technique of the dragon god combat body. He began to absorb and refine the essence to temper his spirit body. Just like that, time passed by day. As time passed, the dragon bone grew smaller and the light on it dimmed. Lu Ming's body was surrounded by a layer of divine light. Lu Ming's spirit body was undergoing a transformation. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. Kacha! A crack appeared on the dragon bone, and with a final bang, it turned into a pile of powder. There was no longer any spiritual essence on it. At this moment, a deafening dragon's roar came from Lu Ming's body. The shadow of 9 dragons appeared and circled around him. After a while, it burrowed into Lu Ming's body and disappeared. The muscles all over Lu Ming's body squirmed and his bones cracked. After a moment, he calmed down. At this moment, Lu Ming let out a long breath and opened his eyes. Medium-grade Earth spiritual body. Lu Ming felt the strong power in his body and a thought flashed across his mind. Medium-grade Earth spiritual body. Lu Ming's spirit body had successfully completed its evolution and had achieved a medium-grade Earth spiritual body. This was a qualitative transformation, from a low-grade Earth spiritual body to a medium-grade Earth spiritual body. If others knew about this, it would probably cause a huge uproar. The intrinsic level of a spirit body was very difficult to improve. An ordinary martial emperor would temper their spirit body while improving their cultivation. As their cultivation increased, their spirit body would become stronger as well. However, this kind of increase in strength was only a quantitative increase. For example, if a warrior with a low-grade Earth spiritual body improved his cultivation, the power and effect of his spiritual body would also become stronger. However, he would still be a low-grade Earth spiritual body. This was his nature and would not change. From a low-grade Earth spiritual body to a medium-grade Earth spiritual body, this was an improvement in essence. Lu Ming had completed the upgrade of the essence. The higher the essence level of the spirit body, the more powerful it would be. Moreover, when the cultivation level increased, the extent of the improvement of the spirit body would also be greater. It was extremely difficult for a spirit body to improve its essence. There were very few ways to increase one's intrinsic quality. Just like D, he had obtained the cultivation method of the myriad spirit body by chance. It was a method that could improve the nature of the spirit body, but it was also very difficult. It required the blood and essence of thousands of creatures. D had spent 10,000 years to no avail. Once he succeeded, his spiritual body would evolve into a low-grade spiritual body. It was said that in the Yuan continent, there were some heavenly treasures that could also allow a spirit body to undergo a qualitative change. However, each of these heavenly treasures was extremely rare and priceless. A dragon bone worth 2 million contribution points can only be upgraded from a low-tier Earth spiritual body to a medium-tier Earth spiritual body. I wonder how many resources I'll need to upgrade it in the future. Lu Ming sighed. He was originally looking forward to raising his Earth spiritual body to a superior Earth spiritual body, but it seemed like an extravagant hope. The resources and dragon essence required to upgrade the dragon god combat body were much more than he had imagined. Moreover, the further he advanced, the more dragon essence he would need. The amount of dragon essence needed to advance from a medium-grade earth spiritual body to a superior-grade earth spiritual body was 10 times more than the amount needed to advance from a low-grade earth spiritual body to a medium-grade earth spiritual body. After that, it would be an even more astronomical figure to raise it to the heavenly spiritual body. Lu Ming had a headache just thinking about it. I'll take it slow. After my cultivation improves, I'll just go out and take risks to earn Ori rocks and contribution points. Lu Ming had this plan. Then, Lu Ming continued to cultivate, comprehending the 13 momentum storing strikes and the Chaos Sky-Turning Seal. The Chaos Sky-Turning Seal, like other domain-level martial arts techniques, was divided into 6 levels. Lu Ming had only cultivated to the first level and was about to break through to the second level. In the blink of an eye, another 10 days had passed. Lu Ming had joined Cloud Dragon Valley for more than a month. After 10 days of bitter cultivation, the Chaos Sky-Turning Seal had successfully reached the second level. Lu Ming had also reached the second level of the Storing Power 13 strikes. A casual swing of the spear could contain 4 streams of power, and the power was astonishing. At this moment, Lu Ming received a message. He had a mission. It was a mission given to him by Dragon God Valley. Normally, the sect would assign a mission to new disciples within 3 months. Lu Ming flew out of Dragon God Valley according to the mission's instructions. A few people were already waiting on a small snow mountain. These few people had the same mission as Lu Ming. "You are Lu Ming." Lu Ming landed and some of them recognized him. When Lu Ming had first joined Dragon God Valley, he had caused a huge commotion. The Valley Masters of Silver Dragon Valley and Cloud Dragon Valley had come in person. In the end, the Valley Master of Cloud Dragon Valley had even accepted Lu Ming as his disciple. Back then, many people had watched the show. It was normal for some of them to recognize Lu Ming. "How should I address you?" Lu Ming cupped his fists and swept his gaze across the room. Other than Lu Ming, there were 4 other people. One of them was a brawny man in his 30s. He had a burly figure and a head of inch-long hair. His aura was the most threatening. The other 3 people were slightly younger. 2 of them were young men in their 20s, and one of them was a young woman in her 20s. They had hot figures and curvaceous bodies. "I'm Su Long." The buzz-cut man introduced himself. Then, the other 3 also introduced themselves. The 2 young men were Zhang Kong and Fu Xing. The young woman was called Duan Yen. The few of them did not hide their cultivation. Lu Ming scanned them with his spiritual senses and they were clear of their cultivation. Su Long's cultivation was the strongest, at the peak LV3 Martial Royal Realm. Fu Xing and Duan Yen were both at the LV3 Martial Royal Realm. One of them was at the early stage of LV3, while the other was at the late stage. Zhang Kong, on the other hand, was at the peak of the second-level Martial Royal Realm. Lu Ming was the weakest at the peak of the first-level Martial Emperor Realm. I believe that everyone is aware of our mission. The Feng family of the Six Kong Mountain is a subsidiary family of Dragon God Valley. Some time ago, the Feng family's master was mysteriously killed, and the Feng family couldn't find any clues. A few days later, the second master of the Feng family was also killed mysteriously. The Feng family panicked and asked for help from Dragon God Valley. Our mission this time is to find out the cause of death of the head of the Feng family and the second master of the Feng family, as well as find the murderer and ensure the safety of the Feng family. Su Long briefly explained the mission. Lu Ming and the rest nodded. They had seen this mission before. "All right, let's set off now," Su Long said. The group rose into the air and flew toward the Feng family of the Six Kong Mountain. Chapter 1457, 1457 Chapter 1457 Coffin opened. The Feng family of the Six Kong Mountain was a small family within the Dragon God Valley territory. It was a subsidiary family of the Dragon God Valley, which was quite far away from the Dragon God Valley. The 5 of them traveled day and night, and it took them 10 days to reach the Feng family. What a cold and sinister aura! Duan Yen shuddered as she approached the Feng family. Everyone's brows furrowed slightly. They felt that the air here was particularly cold. In front of them, there was a continuous stretch of palace buildings, and a group of people came out to welcome them. The leader of the group was a young man with a pale face. When he saw Lu Ming and the rest, the young man quickly saluted them. Feng Yi of the Feng family greets the Dragon God Valley's high ambassadors. No need to be so polite. Su Long waved his hand and said. After the introduction, everyone knew that Feng Yi was the only son of the Feng family's master. Those who followed Feng Yi to welcome them were all high-level figures of the Feng family. Everyone, please come in to talk. Feng Yi welcomed Lu Ming and the rest into the Feng family mansion. A very cold feeling. Lu Ming furrowed his brows as he entered the Feng family mansion. He felt that the atmosphere was even colder. Did anything happen to the Feng family during this time? In the hall of the Feng family, everyone took their seats and Su Long was the first to speak. 3 days ago, my third uncle also died. Feng Yi said with a sorrowful expression. The other members of the Feng family all looked terrified. It was unknown who the Feng family had offended. The higher-ups of the Feng family had died mysteriously one after another. During this period, the Feng family had fallen into a state of panic. No one knew who would be the next one. Do you know how he died? Su Long said. I don't know. We've checked it carefully. There's no wound, not a single wound. Feng Yi said, shaking his head. No wound? How is that possible? Fu Xing said, clearly in disbelief. It's true. We've checked carefully. My father, my second uncle, and my third uncle are all the same. There's no wound at all. They seem to have died suddenly. But they were all martial royal realm experts, so it's impossible for them to die suddenly. Someone must have done this in secret. Feng Yi said through gritted teeth. Does your Feng family have any enemies? Su Long asked. The Feng family is considered weak in the Six Kong Mountain area. We usually do things with fear and trepidation. We don't dare to offend other forces. Therefore, the Feng family has always been on good terms with other families and forces. We have almost no enemies. Feng Yi said. Su Long, Lu Ming, and the others frowned. No enemies, no wounds, no clues. How could they investigate? Could it be that he had to wait for an opportunity? Wait for the other party to attack again? The hall suddenly quieted down, and the atmosphere became heavy. I suggest we open the coffin and do an autopsy. Suddenly, a voice broke the silence. The person who spoke was Lu Ming. Open the coffin and perform an autopsy? Everyone's gaze turned to Lu Ming. That's not good. My father and the others have just been buried not long ago. It's a little disrespectful to open a school now. Feng Yi said. I also agree to open the coffin and perform an autopsy. Otherwise, how can we investigate without any clues? If the other party doesn't make a move after this, wouldn't this matter be left unsettled? Su Long said. Then, Fu Xing, Duan Yen, and Zhang Kong all agreed to open the coffin and perform an autopsy. Feng Yi's expression changed. In the end, he gritted his teeth and nodded, agreeing to this matter. They acted immediately. Under the lead of Feng Yi and a few higher-ups of the Feng family, they went to the back mountain. Soon, they arrived at the burial place of the Feng family head and the others. Feng Yi arranged for the Feng family to take action. Soon, 3 purple gold coffins were placed in front of Su Long and the others. The lids of the coffins were already opened. 3 middle-aged men were lying quietly in the purple gold coffins. The 3 of them were all emperors, and their corpses would not rot unless they were more than 100 years old. Even now, they were still alive. Lu Ming, Su Long, and the rest took a closer look. Suddenly, Lu Ming raised his eyebrows as if he had discovered something. There was a puzzled look in his eyes, but he remained silent and did not say anything. Then they carefully examined the 3 bodies. As expected, there were no wounds, not a single wound. No wound. Lu Ming furrowed his brows. He recalled the Emperor Tsong's subordinates in the Emperor's secret realm. They died in the Emperor's secret realm without any injuries. Lu Ming speculated that those people must have been killed by Shakyamuni Annihilating Soul. However, Lu Ming did not think that Shakyamuni Annihilating Soul had already escaped and came here to kill a low-level martial emperor every few days. This was impossible. Dharma King Annihilating Soul? Annihilate Soul? That's right. Could it be that these few people's souls were directly destroyed by someone and died? Lu Ming suddenly had an idea. He thought of this. His eyes revealed a strange light. He felt that this matter was not simple. After a thorough check, the Feng family buried the 3 Feng family heads and returned to the hall. Su Long, Fu Xing, and the others frowned, but they did not find any clues either. Strange, there's no wound at all. Could it be that the soul was directly destroyed? Su Long said solemnly. The others didn't say anything. It was a very big deal. If the other party has a grudge against the Feng family and is here to seek revenge, then the next target is likely to be you, young Master Feng. Fu Xing's words made Feng Yi's face turn even paler. What should we do? Esteemed envoys, please save me. Whatever you want, even if the Feng family has to go bankrupt, I will do my best to satisfy you. Feng Yi begged. Yes, don't worry. Since I've accepted this mission, I'll definitely complete it and ensure your safety. Su Long said. How about we take turns to protect young Master Feng? Junior brother Lu Ming and junior brother Zhang Kong will form a team. I will form a team with Fu Xing, and senior brother Su Long will form a team alone. What do you think? Duan Yan's eyes turned as she spoke. I have no objections. Fu Xing smiled. Lu Ming's eyebrows moved slightly. This grouping was interesting. Among the 5 of them, he and Zhang Kong had the lowest cultivation, but they were placed together. This didn't make sense. The corners of Lu Ming's mouth gradually curled into a smile. The mission this time was very strange to begin with. Among the 5 of them, Su Long, Fu Xing, and Duan Yan were all at the 3rd level of the martial royal realm, while he was only at the 1st level. Such an arrangement was unreasonable to begin with. Logically speaking, since there were 3rd-level martial emperors like Su Long, Fu Xing, and Duan Yan in the team, it meant that this mission could only be completed with a cultivation at the 3rd level of the martial emperor realm. So, what was the meaning of putting him, a 1st-level martial emperor, in there? Could it be that someone was controlling this mission? Or perhaps someone had deliberately arranged for Su Long, Fu Xing, and Duan Yan to come in? Lu Ming thought of Yin Feng and he. With Yin Feng's status, it was still possible for him to deal with him in a mission. Chapter 1458. 1458 Who do you think you are? He had thought of the situation when he saw Su Long and the others, but Duan Yan's arrangement reminded him. All right, I have no objections. Lu Ming had many thoughts in his mind and he agreed immediately. Zhang Kong thought for a while and nodded in agreement. All right, let's do it this way. If the other party is really seeking revenge, then their next target will definitely be young Master Feng. As long as the other party appears, they will be unable to escape even if they have wings. Su Long announced. Since that night, everyone took turns to guard Feng Yi's bedroom. On the first day, it was Lu Ming and Zhang Kong. On the second day, it was Fu Xing and Duan Yan. On the 3rd day, it was Su Long. That night, everything was calm and peaceful. It was the same on the 2nd and 3rd days. 6 days passed in the blink of an eye. On the 7th day, it was Lu Ming and Zhang Kong's turn again. The night sky was quiet and the cold wind was howling. Lu Ming sat cross-legged in a hidden corner. He concealed his aura and spread out his spiritual sense, covering the entire Feng family mansion. On the other side, it was Zhang Kong. Very soon it was late at night. Suddenly, a shadow flashed across the night sky. Buzz. At this moment, Lu Ming suddenly opened his eyes and dashed out. He was as fast as lightning and pounced on the shadow. On the other side, Zhang Kong had obviously sensed it too. He pounced at the same time as Lu Ming. The shadow seemed to know that it had been discovered and quickly rushed out at an amazing speed. 3 figures rushed out of the Feng family mansion one after the other and rushed toward the 6 Void Mountain. The Sixth Sky Mountain was extremely huge. There were countless dangerous peaks and the terrain was extremely complicated. As soon as the shadow rushed out of the Feng family mansion, it rushed into the Sixth Kong Mountain. He couldn't see his opponent's figure at all from high up in the sky. He could only chase after his opponent by rushing into the Sixth Sky Mountain. Lu Ming and Zhang Kong rushed into the Sixth Kong Mountain one after another. They locked onto each other with their auras and chased after each other. However, the other party's speed was astonishing, and he seemed to be very familiar with the Sixth Kong Mountain's terrain. He turned left and right in the Sixth Kong Mountain, and the two of them could not catch up with him at all. "I'll go to the front and block them, you chase after them." Lu Ming sent a voice transmission to Zhang Kong. He then took to the air and flew high up into the sky. The black wings on his back stretched out. With a flap, Lu Ming flew forward at an extreme speed, his speed suddenly increasing by a few times. Lu Ming had to rush to the front to block the other party and leave them no way out. However, at this moment, a shrill scream came from the vast mountains below. It was Zhang Kong. Lu Ming's expression changed. He swooped down and rushed toward the source of the sound. Bang! Lu Ming landed in a valley. The sound had come from here, but there was no one there. "There's blood." Lu Ming saw fresh blood. Based on the smell of the blood, it was Zhang Kong's. But there was only blood, no one. Lu Ming spread out his spiritual consciousness, but he could not sense anything. Not only did the person from before disappear, even Zhang Kong's aura had disappeared without a trace. Lu Ming frowned. It had only been a short while and both the other party and Zhang Kong had disappeared without a trace. It was too strange. Lu Ming speculated that the other party was definitely very familiar with the Sixth Kong Mountain. He might even have a secret hideout nearby. Lu Ming started to search the vicinity. However, after searching for a while, he still found nothing. Lu Ming speculated that Zhang Kong was most likely dead. Lu Ming had no choice but to return to the Feng family. As soon as he returned to the Feng residence, he saw a group of people waiting at the main entrance. Feng Yi and the other experts of the Feng clan. Su Long, Fu Xing, and Duan Yen were all there, protecting Feng Yi in the middle. At the sight of Lu Ming's return, everyone's eyes lit up. "Junior brother Lu Ming, how is it? Did you catch the murderer?" Su Long asked. Lu Ming shook his head. The other party is very familiar with the Sixth Kong Mountain area. They didn't catch up. Did he not catch up? Where is junior brother Zhang Kong? Duan Yen asked, frowning. Zhang Kong is probably dead. Lu Ming said and told him about how they had chased after the shadow. That can't be right. After Lu Ming finished speaking, Duan Yen spoke coldly and stared at Lu Ming with an unfriendly gaze. What's wrong? Lu Ming said. You said that he was severely injured and even killed junior brother Zhang Kong in an instant, but when you went to search for him, you couldn't find any trace of him. This place is wrong. How could he have disappeared so quickly? Second, you said that you have searched around but did not find junior brother Zhang Kong or the other party. Junior brother Zhang Kong is at the peak of the second-level martial emperor realm, but the other party could severely injure or even kill him. You are only at the first-level martial emperor realm. Why didn't the other party continue to attack you? Instead, he let you check around and let you come back. Why didn't he kill you as well? Duan Yen asked indifferently. At the side, the others also revealed doubtful expressions. You're suspecting me? Lu Ming sneered. That's right. You went out with Zhang Kong. Zhang Kong, who had a higher cultivation, died, but you didn't. I suspect that you're afraid of death. When you saw Zhang Kong in danger, you didn't help him and ran back alone. You even killed Zhang Kong. You wanted to take his treasures, didn't you? Duan Yen scolded loudly, her eyes flashing with a cunning look. Lu Ming, is this the case? Fu Xing was also staring at Lu Ming with an unfriendly expression. Are they going to launch an attack? Lu Ming sneered in his heart. Duan Yen and Fu Xing indeed had a purpose. They were deliberately going against him. These two people were most likely from Yinfeng. This is ridiculous. You want to punish someone, but you can't find any excuse. Just say it. Lu Ming said calmly. Now that I've hit the nail on the head, you have nothing to say. You're a suspect now. You'd better seal your cultivation and let us guard you. When the mission is over, we'll take you back to Dragon God Valley to accept your punishment. Duan Yen said. Hee hee, sealing your own cultivation? All right, come over here, you'll see if you can seal me off. Lu Ming sneered. A cold, murderous intent flashed in the depths of his eyes. If he sealed his cultivation, the other party would be able to deal with him however they wanted. How could Lu Ming seal his cultivation? It was simply laughable. You want to resist? Duan Yen said coldly. Previously, she had heard that although Lu Ming had just broken through to the martial royal realm, his combat strength was shocking. In the great emperor's secret realm, even geniuses like He Yu were not his match. Although her cultivation level was 2 levels higher than Lu Ming's, she was not confident that she could defeat him. Nonsense. If I say you're guilty and kneel down, will you? Lu Ming sneered. You're the most suspicious of Zhang Kong's death today. You have to give us an explanation. Duan Yen berated. Explanation? Who do you think you are? Why do I need to give you an explanation? Lu Ming said in disdain. This made Duan Yen and Fu Xing's faces turn ugly. All right, today's incident might not be junior brother Lu Ming's fault. Duan Yen, stop making wild guesses. Our top priority now is to find the murderer and complete this mission. Su Long said, trying to smooth things over. Chapter 1459. 1459. The head of the Feng family is not dead. Since Su Long had stepped in, Duan Yen and Fu Xing seemed to be rather afraid of him. They cast a cold glance at Lu Ming and walked to the side, not asking further. We can basically confirm that the other party is here for revenge. Their next target is young Master Feng. Su Long spoke again, causing Feng Yi's face to turn pale. My esteemed envoys, you must save me. Feng Yi cried out, his face filled with fear. Don't worry. Judging from the previous situation, the other party only wants to launch a sneak attack at night, which means that they aren't very strong and are afraid of us. This will make things easier. Right now, we need to lure them over. Su Long said. Attract? How do we attract them? Feng Yi said. Well, set up a formation around young Master Feng's bedroom. Once the other party steps into the formation, they'll be caught in the wind. Su Long said with confidence. Feng Yi's eyes lit up. That's right. Why didn't I think of that? The Feng family also has a few 9th-grade alchemists. They can set up the array together. I also cultivate the Tao of inscription, so I can help you. Duan Yen stepped out and said. Lu Ming only listened. There was a faint glint in the depths of his eyes. He did not say anything, nor did he say that he would help set up the array. Now, he was almost done with his second body and was cultivating in the mountain and river diagram. All right, let's get started. Su Long said. Immediately, the Feng family's inscription masters and Duan Yen set up a large array in Feng Yi's bedroom. They used various concealment arrays to hide the aura of the large array. If one did not observe carefully, one would not be able to see the array. He was busy all the way until the next night before he finally finished setting up the formation. That night, Lu Ming and the rest did not stay near Feng Yi's bedroom. Instead, they went back to their rooms to rest. If they stayed near Feng Yi, they would only alert the enemy. After 2 days, there was still no movement. Until late at night on the 3rd day. Help! Suddenly, a cry for help broke the silence of the night. It was Feng Yi. Buzz! Lu Ming, who was cultivating, suddenly opened his eyes and rushed out. As soon as he rushed out, he saw a figure rising up from Feng Yi's bedroom. This figure was still holding Feng Yi in his hand as he flew toward the 6th Void Mountain. Chase! At that moment, Su Long, Fu Xing, and Duan Yen appeared and chased after the figure at top speed. Lu Ming did the same. One was chasing, and the other was escaping. In the blink of an eye, they had rushed into the 6th Void Mountain. As soon as they rushed into the range of the 6th Kong Mountain, the other party swooped down and rushed into the forest. Lu Ming and the other 3 followed closely behind and rushed into the forest. Help! Feng Yi shouted. In the night sky, Lu Ming and the rest could clearly see that the figure in front of them was wearing a loose black robe. He grabbed Feng Yi and continued to move forward at an extremely fast speed. In the dark forest, he was like a ghost. You can't escape today. Surrender! Su Long shouted. The genuine vitality in his body surged, and his speed became faster and faster. In the blink of an eye, the group of them had traveled thousands of miles in the Six Kong Mountain. Lu Ming and the rest were getting closer and closer to the black-robed man. Stop! At this moment, Lu Ming shouted loudly. Su Long, Duan Yen, and Fu Xing were startled and could not help but stop. Lu Ming, what are you doing? What's the meaning of this? Duan Yen berated Lu Ming. What is it called? You'll know when you see that person. Lu Ming said indifferently. Duan Yen and the others looked forward and were stunned. That was because the black-robed man had stopped running. That was strange. Why did the black-robed man stop when Lu Ming stopped instead of seizing the opportunity to escape? Su Long, Duan Yen, and Fu Xing were all confused. Because there's a killing formation in front of us. Once we step in, we'll die for sure. Lu Ming said. What? Absolute kill formation? Su Long and the other two's faces changed dramatically. Duan Yen observed carefully and said, That's impossible. There's no trace of an array in front of us. It's impossible for there to be a big array. If there really is a big array, how can I not see it? Lu Ming, don't talk nonsense here. Oh, if you don't believe me, you can try. Lu Ming sneered. Duan Yan's expression changed. Seeing that Lu Ming was so certain, she was skeptical and did not dare to go forward. She would not joke around with her life. Su Long and Fu Xing were both suspicious. Hee, I didn't expect that the array would be so well hidden that you could find it. You are indeed the disciples of Dragon God Valley. The black-robed man in front of him sneered, his voice hoarse and unpleasant. Who are you? The Feng family is a subsidiary family of the Dragon God Valley. If you dare to kill the Feng family's people, you're going against the Dragon God Valley. They'll give you a chance now, let Feng Yi go. Su Long said coldly. Hee, Dragon God Valley disciple, how impressive. The black-robed man sneered. Hee, stop pretending. At this moment, Lu Ming sneered. You've been setting this up since the moment we stepped into the Feng family. No, from the moment you asked for help from Dragon God Valley, you've been setting this up. Your purpose was to lure us here and into the formation. Am I right, Feng family head? What? Lu Ming's words left Su Long, Duan Yen, and Fu Xing dumbfounded. Feng family head? How was that possible? Lu Ming, what nonsense are you talking about? The Feng family, we saw it with our own eyes, they are dead. Duan Yen berated. Who said that the one we saw was the real Feng family head? Lu Ming smiled faintly. This, Su Long, Duan Yen, and the others fell silent. Indeed, who said that the person they saw was the Feng family head? If the person they saw was not the Feng family head, then wasn't Feng Yi? The few of them looked coldly at Feng Yi. At this moment, the black-robed man had already put Feng Yi down, and Feng Yi was not injured at all. I didn't expect that you would be able to see through it, even though it was so well hidden. The black-robed man suddenly sighed and took off the hood on his head. The pupils of Su Long, Duan Yen, and Fu Xing shrank. It was indeed the Feng family head. He looked exactly the same as the Feng family head they saw when they opened the coffin and examined the corpse. In that case, the one they saw when they opened the coffin and examined the corpse was really fake. In the world of martial Dao, it was very easy to change a person's muscles, bones, and appearance through special means. The world of martial Dao recognized people mainly by their aura and appearance. They could change, but their aura would never change. However, they had never seen the Feng family head before, so they naturally did not know his aura. Therefore, it was easy for the Feng family to find a fake person to impersonate the Feng family head. Young man, my plan was flawless. I really want to know how you found out. The Feng family master looked at Lu Ming with a curious look, but he did not panic. Flawless? In my opinion, it's full of flaws. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Chapter 1460, The Feng Family's Trap. It's full of flaws, impossible. The Feng family head's eyes turned cold. How could his carefully arranged plan be full of flaws? If you want to hear it, then he'll tell you so that you can die in peace. First, we found the first flaw in the autopsy. Lu Ming said, "Are there any flaws in the autopsy? It's impossible." The one who spoke was not the Feng family head, but Feng Yi. Su Long, Duan Yen, and Fu Xing also looked puzzled. They opened the coffins and examined them carefully, but found nothing. There were no wounds on the three people, so they could not find any clues. "What's the flaw?" "Lu Ming, you'd better not talk nonsense." Duan Yen sneered. "Shut up. If you're stupid, then listen to me." Lu Ming cast a cold glance at Duan Yen and berated her. Duan Yan's beautiful face was flushed red. Lu Ming actually called her stupid. "All right, I'll listen to junior brother Lu Ming." Su Long tried to smooth things over. "According to my deduction, the three people who died in the Feng family, the second master and the third master, were all killed. Moreover, the one who killed them was you, right, Feng family head?" Lu Ming said. The Feng family head smiled coldly and did not answer directly. "But they were your family after all. You felt guilty for killing them and using them for your scheme. So, when you buried them, you dressed them up carefully. So, after they were buried, they were neatly and meticulously dressed. However, although the body of the Feng family's head seemed to be neatly dressed, it was not meticulous. Some parts seemed to be casual, which explains a lot of problems. If that person was really the Feng family head, then why didn't he bury him meticulously like the second master and third master? That's impossible. It can only mean that the Feng family head is a fake. That's why Feng Yi wasn't as careful when he was buried." Lu Ming explained slowly. "You?" Feng Yi's eyes widened. Lu Ming said that in his heart. In fact, this was indeed the case. Master Feng's eyes also revealed a look of surprise. "At such a young age, your observation skills are so meticulous. It's really admirable. Even I didn't expect this." This fellow, on the side, Su Long, Duan Yen, and Fu Xing had to admit that they had not thought of this either. "There's one more thing. 3 days ago, a black shadow lured Zhang Kong and I out. I guess you wanted to take us down one by one, but you're too familiar with the terrain of the Lukong Mountain. After you attacked Zhang Kong, you disappeared in a few breaths. I guess there must be a secret passage or something nearby. This makes me wonder if this person is from the Feng family. Otherwise, how could he be so familiar with the nearby area? The third point is what happened just now. We clearly set up a formation in Feng Yi's bedroom, but you were able to easily take Feng Yi away from the formation. It's obvious that Feng Yi is in cahoots with you. He's in cahoots with you. Then your identity is obvious. Who else could it be other than the Feng family head? You've been planning this step by step to lure us here, or rather, you've only wanted to kill us. But I'm very curious, why do you want to kill us? We are disciples of Dragon God Valley." Lu Ming explained in detail and then asked his question. "You want to kill us? The Feng family is really bold. In my opinion, the Feng family should cease to exist in the future." Duan Yen said coldly. "Haha, what can you do even if you know? So what if he didn't step into the formation? Today you will all die." The Feng family head laughed. Boom. Then, a terrifying aura rose from the Feng family head. The aura of a peak LV4 martial royal realm. "How come your cultivation is at the peak of the 4th level martial royal realm?" Su Long, Duan Yen, and Fu Xing were all shocked. According to the information, the Feng family master's cultivation was only at the LV3 martial emperor realm. Moreover, he was only a LV3 martial emperor from a small family. His combat strength could not be compared with the disciples of a big sect like Dragon God Valley. Therefore, they had not taken it seriously at first. But now, the Feng family head's aura was actually at the peak of the LV4 martial royal realm. Buzz, buzz, and NBSP whoosh. At this moment, 8 figures appeared in the forest and surrounded Lu Ming and the rest. These 8 elders had extremely shocking auras. They were all at the LV3 martial royal realm. There are so many LV3 martial royal realm experts. How is this possible? Duan Yen exclaimed. According to the records, the Feng clan's clan head had the highest cultivation at the LV3 martial royal realm. The other elders were usually at LV2 martial royal realm. The Feng family was not a top sect in the Tsang region like the Dragon God Valley. The Feng family was just a small family in the Six Kong Mountain. Naturally, the number of masters could not be compared with the Dragon God Valley. In Dragon God Valley, there were plenty of martial emperors. Even those at LV4 martial emperor realm and above could be found in large numbers. However, a small clan like the Feng clan naturally did not have so many martial emperors. But now, 8 LV3 martial royal realm elders had appeared all of a sudden, which was not in line with the records. Su Long, Duan Yen, and Fu Xing's faces turned ugly. Today, all of you will die. The Feng family head's face was extremely cold. He exuded a cold killing intent and his powerful aura enveloped Lu Ming and the other 3. Kill! The Feng family head suddenly shouted and his figure pounced towards the 4 people. Ill deal with him, die! Su Long roared, and the aura of a peak LV3 martial royal realm expert burst out from his body. He unleashed his territory and charged toward the Feng family head. Thump! The 2 of them exchanged a blow. Su Long's figure retreated continuously, but he managed to block it in the end. At this moment, the 8 elders of the Feng family also made their move and charged toward Fu Xing and Duan Yen. As for Lu Ming, he was only a first-level martial emperor. They did not take him seriously. The scene was in a chaotic battle. Su Long and the Feng family master were fighting. There was no doubt that the disciples of Dragon God Valley were better than the small families in all aspects. Their combat power was stronger. Duan Yen and Fu Xing joined hands and actually managed to temporarily resist the 8 old men, although they were at a disadvantage. Su Long, on the other hand, was at a complete disadvantage against the Feng family master. After all, Su Long's cultivation was 1 level lower than his opponent's. Su Long was not a peerless genius who could fight above his level. Therefore, although his combat strength was strong, he was suppressed by the Feng family master. Die! The Feng family's master was surrounded by a black light, and he kept pressing towards Su Long. Su Long spat out a mouthful of blood. Brat, you're dead this time. You're just a LV1 martial emperor. Let me deal with you. Feng appeared behind Lu Ming, his aura locked onto Lu Ming. Peak LV2 martial royal realm. Is that so? Lu Ming smiled faintly. Kill! At this moment, Su Long suddenly roared, and the aura on his body suddenly soared. The 4th level of the martial emperor realm. Chapter 1461, 1461 Chapter 1461 Soul-shaking bell. At this moment, Su Long suddenly burst out the aura of a LV4 martial emperor. Although he was only at the early stage of the LV4 martial emperor realm, he was finally able to fight the Feng family head to a draw with his powerful combat strength. Did he hide his cultivation level? There was a flash of light in Lu Ming's eyes. Su Long had been hiding his cultivation all this time, but now he had no choice but to reveal it. Su Long's outburst shocked the Feng family. Feng Yi's eyes were cold. Kit, they'll kill you first. Then, they'll think of a way to deal with the others. Feng Yi's pitch-black claws were aimed at Lu Ming. Boom! Lu Ming threw a punch at Feng Yi's claw. With a crack, Feng Yi's claw was twisted and deformed. The bones in his hand were shattered by Lu Ming's punch. Feng Yi let out a shrill scream. Boom! Lu Ming threw another punch at Feng Yi's dantian. A terrifying force exploded and destroyed Feng Yi's dantian in an instant. Feng Yi's figure was like a kite with a broken string. He flew a few hundred meters away and crashed into a small hill. He was no longer breathing. Although Feng Yi's cultivation was at the peak of the 2nd-level martial emperor realm, there was still a big gap between his combat strength and that of the disciples of the Dragon God Valley, not to mention the geniuses like He Yu and Wang Xiao. In Lu Ming's hands, he could not even put up a fight. And NBS kill. The Feng family had roared, his berserk killing intent erupting. "Kill that brat!" The Feng family head roared. "Brat die!" One of the elders who had been surrounding Duan Yen and Fu Xing pounced toward Lu Ming. A palm print as black as ink and with a foul smell came crashing toward Lu Ming. "Kill!" Lu Ming's eyes lit up. The chaos domain covered his entire body as he cast the prison-suppressing heaven technique and threw a punch. The fist force crushed over, and the stench was swept away. Bang! The fist and the palm collided, and a shocking fluctuation burst out. Then the old man grunted and his body shook violently. He was sent flying by Lu Ming. He was in the air and blood seeped out of his mouth. Buzz! Lu Ming's figure moved and he rushed towards his opponent. He waved his fists continuously and dozens of fist forces flooded towards his opponent. The other party roared and tried his best to resist. However, under Lu Ming's storm-like fist force, he seemed to be vulnerable. When the fist force dissipated, the old man was also smashed into pieces. The fact that a third-level martial emperor was killed by Lu Ming in an instant shocked everyone. This Lu Ming is really so powerful. Duan Yen and Fu Xing's eyes flickered, and no one knew what they were thinking. "Junior brother Lu Ming, come and help me kill this man." Su Long roared. "All right." Lu Ming nodded and dashed toward the battlefield between Su Long and the Feng family head. Boom! The air buzzed as he threw a punch, and the terrifying force of the punch headed toward the Feng family head. After exchanging a blow with Lu Ming, the Feng family head trembled and actually took a step back. How can a LV1 martial royal realm expert be so powerful? He must be the peerless genius of Dragon God Valley. A look of shock flashed through the eyes of the Feng family head. "Kill!" Su Long also launched a fierce attack. Under the joint attack of Lu Ming and Su Long, the Feng family head was at a disadvantage. Ding-ling-ling. At this moment, a black bell floated above the Feng family head and rang. An invisible fluctuation spread out. Lu Ming felt his spiritual god tremble slightly as it was attacked by an invisible force. The sound of the bell could actually attack the spiritual god. To be more precise, it could attack the soul within the spiritual god. However, Lu Ming's soul was very powerful. Moreover, the spiritual god was wearing a jade armor. At this time, the jade armor was emitting a layer of light that enveloped the spiritual god. Lu Ming's spiritual god only trembled slightly and was fine. On the other hand, Su Long's expression changed drastically. His body trembled and his face turned pale. "Kill, kill!" The Feng family head seized the opportunity and launched a fierce attack on Lu Ming and Su Long. Lu Ming threw out 2 punches and blocked his opponent's attack. However, Su Long's body trembled and a trace of blood seeped out from the corner of his mouth. "Junior brother Lu Ming, stop this person first. I'll help junior sister Duan Yen and the rest kill those people, then I'll come and help you." At this moment, Su Long bellowed and retreated, leaving the Feng family head to Lu Ming alone, exposing Lu Ming to the Feng family head's attack. It seems that the disciples of Dragon God Valley are also scheming against each other. "Then you shall die first." The Feng family head sneered. The bell above his head jingled and invisible waves surged toward Lu Ming. At the same time, his palm, which was as black as ink and gave off a disgusting smell, was aimed at Lu Ming. A cold glint flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. However, he did not say much. His essential core exploded and he fought with the other party. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming had exchanged dozens of moves with the other party. Damn it, why is my soul-shaking bell useless against this kid? And this kid's combat strength is too strong. The more they fought, the more shocked the Feng family head was. No matter what he did, he could not do anything to Lu Ming. Lu Ming was like a rock in the sea, standing still. On the other side, Su Long rushed to the battlefield where Duan Yen and the others were fighting. With his cultivation of the 4th-level martial emperor realm and his powerful combat strength, he had the upper hand. In a short while, he had killed 3 elders in a row. The situation had completely reversed. Buzz! 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 In Su Long's hand, a combat sword was flying like a dragon with amazing sword chi. Duan Yen and Fu Xing cooperated with Su Long and attacked the remaining 4 old men like a storm. Another old man was cut in half by Su Long's sword. The remaining 3 people were even less of a match for Su Long and the other 2. Let's go! The remaining 3 had no intention of staying. They wanted to escape, but Su Long and the other 2 held them back. Soon after, the one who was fighting with Su Long was also killed by him. The remaining 2 old men were killed by Su Long one after another. The Feng clan's patriarch was the only one left at the scene. Damn it, how did this happen? The Feng family head roared. The combat power of the people from Dragon God Valley this time was beyond his imagination. Based on the difficulty of the mission he issued to Dragon God Valley, he should not have sent a disciple of the Dragon God Valley who was at the 4th level of the Martial Emperor realm. However, he did not expect that one of the disciples, Su Long, had hidden his cultivation. His own cultivation was at the 4th level of the Martial Emperor realm. Lu Ming's combat strength was even more shocking. He was only at the 1st level of the Martial Royal realm, but he was able to stop him. Moreover, his scheme had been seen through by Lu Ming. Lu Ming and the rest had not stepped into the formation, which led to the current situation. Damn it, in going all out, you're courting death. Feng family head's eyes flashed with ruthlessness. He spat out a mouthful of blood onto the bell above his head, causing it to emit a layer of bloody light and ring. Its power increased by a level. Waves of invisible energy gushed toward Lu Ming and attacked his spiritual god. However, they were all blocked by the jade armor. At this moment, Su Long, Duan Yen, and Fu Xing stood aside but did not come to help Lu Ming. Senior brother Su Long, please help us. Let's kill this man together. Lu Ming called out. Chapter 1462, 1462 Chapter 1462 Who's scamming who? However, Su Long was unmoved. He even sneered and said, Junior brother Lu Ming, you've just entered Dragon God Valley. Although you're talented, you don't have enough combat experience. You need more training. We'll leave the Feng family head to you. We'll support you. There's indeed a problem. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat and there was a cold glint in his eyes. He originally thought that Duan Yen and Fu Xing had problems, but now it seemed that Su Long also had problems. In the beginning, Su Long had hidden his cultivation level and had ulterior motives. Now, he even asked Lu Ming to deal with the Feng family head alone. He was clearly trying to kill Lu Ming with a borrowed knife and use the Feng family head to deal with Lu Ming. The Feng family head naturally noticed the problem between Lu Ming and the rest. He seized the opportunity and launched a storm of attacks on Lu Ming. He still had a chance to kill Lu Ming. Senior brothers, I can't hold on any longer. Lu Ming shouted. He exchanged a blow with the Feng family head and deliberately retreated to Su Long and the others. Ding-ling-ling. The Feng family master chased after Lu Ming. The soul-shaking bell vibrated and invisible waves enveloped Su Long and the other 2. Detestable! Su Long and the other 2 roared in their hearts, but they had no choice but to resist. Thank you for your help, senior brothers. Lu Ming sneered coldly, causing Su Long and the other 2 to turn pale. Ding-ling-ling. The sound of the bell made Su Long and the other 2's faces turn pale. It was obvious that their spiritual gods had been attacked and were injured. Senior brother Su Long, we must take him down as soon as possible. Duan Yen said. If this continued, their souls would suffer a lot of injuries. Physical injuries were easy to recover, but soul injuries were hard to recover. The price of spirit herbs that could recover the soul was shockingly high. Attack with all your might. Su Long said. Buzz, buzz, buzz. A bright sword light bloomed from Su Long's hand and shot toward the Feng family master. Duan Yen and Fu Xing fully cooperated with Su Long. At this time, Lu Ming deliberately wandered around the Feng family head and occasionally attacked. Junior brother Lu Ming, what are you doing? Why aren't you attacking with all your might and capturing this person? Su Long shouted. I can't. Just now, I blocked it alone and my vitality was greatly damaged. My spirit is weak and I don't have any strength left. I need to recover slowly. Lu Ming was making up nonsense. Su Long's expression turned ugly. He knew that Lu Ming was taking revenge for not attacking them earlier. If Lu Ming did not put in any effort, Su Long and the other two could not take down the Feng family head at once. As time passed, their faces turned paler and paler. It was obvious that their souls were severely injured. This kind of soul injury would take a few years to heal. Damn it! Su Long, Duan Yen, and Fu Xing roared in their hearts. It was all Lu Ming's fault. If Lu Ming had cooperated with them and attacked with all his might, he would have taken down the Feng family's family head long ago. How could their souls be injured? In the blink of an eye, dozens of moves had passed. It's almost time. The corners of Lu Ming's mouth curled into a smile. Black wings suddenly appeared on his back and he slashed horizontally. Bang! The black wing was a holy weapon. How could the Feng family head resist it? He was swept away by the black wing. He fell to the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. Buzz! Lu Ming's figure flashed and he appeared in front of the Feng family head. He slapped the Feng family head 9 times in a row, sealing his essential core. The Feng family head immediately fell to the ground. Holy weapon! Su Long, Duan Yen, and Fu Xing's eyes revealed fear. Lu Ming, why didn't you use your holy weapon earlier? Duan Yen glared at Lu Ming and shouted. Do you think you can use a saint weapon just because you want to? It consumes a lot of true essence. I used too much true essence to resist the Feng family head just now, so I've only recovered a little. Lu Ming casually explained. However, Lu Ming's eyes were bright and his breathing was stable. He did not look like he was running out of essential core. He was clearly lying. However, they did not help Lu Ming just now. They could not refute Lu Ming's words and could not voice their grievances. A cold light flashed in the depths of Su Long's eyes. Then he smiled and said, I believe that junior brother Lu Ming has given it his all. Now that the Feng family head has been captured, let's ask him why he wants to kill us. Then they walked to the Feng family head. Old man, tell me, why do you want to kill us? If you don't tell me the truth, I'll skin you alive and make you beg for death. Duan Yen said ruthlessly, her eyes full of resentment. Her soul had been injured by the Feng family head, and it would take a few years to recover. She really wanted to skin the Feng family head alive. AI. If you set up everything and everything is lost, I'll say it, I'll confess everything. The Feng family head sighed, looking a little down and out. Everything starts from an ancient ruin that I accidentally discovered. The Feng family head sighed again. An ancient ruin? The eyes of Su Long, Duan Yen, and the others suddenly lit up. Usually, when it came to ancient ruins, there was a high chance that treasures would appear, and it would be a great opportunity. That's right. When I was in the Six Kong Mountain, I accidentally stumbled into an ancient cave abode and obtained a cultivation technique from there. It requires the blood and soul of others to cultivate, and my cultivation can improve by leaps and bounds. The Feng family head said, No wonder your cultivation is different from the records. You've reached LV4 Martial Royal Realm. Su Long said, obviously believing him. That's right, I've cultivated that cultivation technique. Furthermore, according to the records in that cultivation technique, the younger a heaven's favorite is, the more effective their blood and soul will be, and the faster their cultivation will improve. The Feng family head said, So, you plan to attract the disciples of Dragon God Valley to kill you and use their blood and souls to cultivate. Su Long said, Not bad. The Feng family head nodded. How dare you? Aren't you afraid that your entire clan will be killed? Duan Yen berated. If my plan had succeeded, I would have killed all of you and my cultivation would have improved greatly. By then, I would have taken all the treasures in the ancient ruins and left the Tsang region. The Yuan continent is so vast, how could the Dragon God Valley find us? It's a pity that we failed at the last step and were defeated by a first-level martial emperor. The Feng family laughed. You're saying that there are more treasures in the ancient ruins? Duan Yen caught on to the Feng family head's words, her eyes filled with greed. It was the same for Su Long and Fu Xing. Not bad. The Feng family head nodded. Quickly bring us there. Duan Yen said anxiously. No, unless you promise to let me go, don't expect me to take you there. Without me, you can't find the 6th Void Mountain. The Feng family head said. If you don't, they'll kill you right now. Duan Yan's eyes were cold, and a cold killing intent enveloped the Feng family head. Buzz. Su Long pointed the long sword in his hand at the Feng family head's neck and said, Bring us there, or we'll die right now. If there really is an ancient ruin, I promise to let you go. You will really let me go, unless you discover the blood oath. The Feng family head said. Su Long's long sword shook, and a sword chi burst out, cutting off one of the Feng family master's ears. Nonsense, you'll do what I say. If you go overboard, you'll die now. Su Long's voice was cold. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Immortal Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.